your chair?
Well, I didn't fall off my chair, but I left my heart in San Francisco. The phone rang. It was Mark Kisla, who terrific journalist that was always sort of ahead of stories. And he said, "Hey, what do you think about the offer sheet for Joe Sakic for $21 million with 15 up front? How you doing?" Your mind goes to, oh, he's obviously kidding. He wants something else, but he wasn't kidding. And so, it's a punch. I was getting ready to go on vacation, so that's the right time to slam somebody. And that's what it was. So I was a neighbor, my dear friend Pierre Lacroix, collaborator, lived across the cul-de-sac. So we met at the center of the cul-de-sac, and he just gave me this look like, wow, who'd have thunk? And then, what are you going to do? What's your plan, big guy? Because that's a lot of money. 30 years ago, that kind of contract was destabilizing, to say the least. And also, Dave Checkins had done his homework, right? That they had been smart enough to, because we were publicly traded and we were a young company. He looked at the balance sheet and said, look how much money they have in the bank. So we offer $1 more. It's going to knock their company on their ear. They're going to have to take 5 picks. So, given that he had Richter and he had, the greatest player of all time, Wayne Gretzky, and by the way, Joe Sakic's idol, that was going to be a powerful team. And having just lost Messier, he needed to do something. And so he did the right thing. He said, what the heck? There's a chance they aren't going to be able to pull it off. And at least I'm making an effort. And so I felt pretty beat up, candidly.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m., Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m., Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m., Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m., Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio, SiriusXM 86.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their 3rd Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on SiriusXM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada, or not Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was
but
a
the
good Canada Cup.
yes, that was a Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7, yeah, that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup Final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we felt back in 87, we were really at the peak of that team in some ways. Some people think 85 team was the best team ever. 87, I think, was probably the most talented team. I think 85 team had a better overall record. I think it was 16-1 or 16-2 in that playoff year. 87, we got tangled up against Philadelphia, but we felt we're a better team. But sports isn't about who's a better team. It's about the belief system inside the dressing room. And Philadelphia wouldn't quit. Mike Keenan wouldn't allow the young Philadelphia team to quit. They were kind of banged up. They had some injuries, but they were able to extend the series after what we thought probably should have been maybe at least 4 or 5 game series. We lost, I think, the first game, if I remember correctly, and then came back and won 3 in a row, coming home to win the 5th game, only to realize that winning a championship, even after all the experience we had, is not that easy. And then going back to Philadelphia for Game 6, and they trounced us in Philly. Now we find ourselves in a Game 7, and then once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. You can get a bad break, an unlucky bounce, as we've seen in the past, and so everything's at stake, everything's on the line, and I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of rely on our experiences that we had in the past. We felt incredibly confident that if we went out and played our best game and Philadelphia went out and played their best game, our best was going to be good enough. But even with that, there was so much uncertainty. And sure enough, we're able to win our 3rd cup in 4 years, which was quite an incredible feat.
That was Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier, on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin on Channel 91.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m., Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule. All times are Eastern, and please remember, for Friday, May the 29th, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes take on the Montreal Canadiens at 8 p.m. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius, XM, and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91.
New York Rangers legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to share what it was like to play in the 1994 finals with the New York Rangers, as well as ending the 54-year drought for the franchise and how that team represented what a hockey team is all about.
Well, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about 1994 as well. You mentioned Mike Keenan. We spoke with him in studio a couple of weeks ago. He still speaks so highly of you and of that run. So take us back to ending the 54-year drought. In Game 7, you get a power play goal. You shovel a puck underneath of Kirk McLean. Stands up as the game winner, as it turns out. So take us back to that hot, steamy night. What was it, June 14th of 1994 at the Garden in New York?
Just, I guess just starting, going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the Garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves, much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to the fifth game, where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years. Only to find ourselves, the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for Game 7. And the same thing happened. We felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason because they're a great team. And here we are in Game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov, Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves and Mike Richter and net, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
I'm Frank Trapp.
The Fan.
Carolina Hurricanes hockey is presented by Lenovo and is brought to you by Pepsi, Spectrum, UNC Health, Vector Security, North Carolina Education Lottery, Harris Teeter, Kia, and Cardinal Apparel. You're listening to the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
4 games into the Eastern Conference Finals, it is very apparent the Carolina Hurricanes are better than the Montreal Canadiens by even the simplest of measures: goals, shots, and of course wins. Difference has been obvious. Hi everyone, I am Adam Gold, and tonight we'll find out if that matters tonight, because none of it really matters just yet. So we'll find out if the Canes could put one more flag outside Lenovo Center, as they are just one win away from advancing to the next stage of the Stanley Cup playoffs. After last Thursday's opener, an impressive 6-2 Montreal win, Carolina's flexed some serious muscle. You may already be aware that the Canes peppered Canadiens goaltender Jakub Dobeš with 44 shots on goal Wednesday night. Meanwhile, Montreal, 43 shots on goal in the last 3 games combined. Yeah, it's been that kind of one-sided in the Canes' 3 wins. Carolina, 255 shot attempts to Montreal's 129. A 2-1 advantage. 109 of those shot attempts on net. Canadiens just 43. Grade A scoring chances. How about 52-18 in favor of the Canes? The only reason the Habs have stayed even close over these last 3 games has been the stellar play of Dobeš, who is credited with a goal saved above average of about 5 in these 3 games. And now it seems that the Hurricanes are starting to see some of their top guys get going. The last 2 games, Andrei Svechnikov and Sebastian Aho each have game-winning goals. Logan Stankoven added to his team-leading total. He has now 8. And Frederik Andersen has steadied the ship with 3 straight wins, allowing just 4 goals, and he registered his 3rd shutout of the postseason in Game 4. And speaking of Game 4, really is hard to come up with criticism after that one, though there is at least one area that needs to improve. That 5-on-3 power play was really not very impressive. And while it took almost 15 minutes to break through for Carolina, the Hurricanes really did get to their game in a hurry. If you pay attention to such matters, the Hurricanes are 11-4 in the playoffs under Rod Brind'Amour in games that would eliminate their opponents, and they have won their last 7. And I will tell you even one more stat, that Rod Brind'Amour in modern NHL history can become the first coach to lead his team to the Stanley Cup Finals after also leading that team to the Stanley Cup Finals as the captain. That's not bad. Lineups, and we'll look back on Game 4 in a little bit on the other side. This is Canes Hockey on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Stop by Handy Hugo's for great deals on your favorite Pepsi products. Head to Handy Hugo's today.
There's so much to love about North Carolina, but we all want more. More boundless views, more pristine scenery, more wildlife, more adventures, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Properly disposing of waste is never a waste of time. It leads to a more enjoyable environment for much longer. So, when traveling in North Carolina, make it your nature to trash your trash. Leave it more beautiful than when you found it. And we will all have more reasons to love NC. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina. Part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, in cooperation with this station.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center. Carolina 1 win away from advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in 20 years. And in the words of the great David Byrne, how did we get here?
Bounce to the boards, and Svechnikov clears it out, and on a change, here comes Blake. On a breakaway, Blake in, drags, and Dobish makes the save, kicking out the left pad.
That was just the first of a few really good scoring chances early. Nick Ehlers had a great look, also on a breakaway, a few minutes later. And it looked like Carolina wasn't going to break through, and then Montreal negated their own power play with an unnecessary hook, and Sebastian Aho made everybody pay.
Aho shoots, he scores! A power play goal! Carolina gets a 1-0 lead, their first power play goal of this series, and Sebastian Aho delivers it. It's 1-0 Hurricanes.
A little bit more than a minute later, it was Keandre Miller ducking down the right side and creating a chance for the captain.
Miller, he's going to dive down the right wing forward, centering attempt, they score! The captain, Jordan Staal! The Canes, they have increased their lead 2-0 here in the first period.
If that wasn't enough, a great defensive play leads to offense at the other end.
Hudson shot, that's blocked by Gostisbehere. Right to Blake, 2-on-1 for Carolina. Blake and Stankoven coming in. Blake, Stankoven, 3-0 Carolina as a huge goal sent across Logan Stankoven. There is his 8th of the postseason, and the Hurricanes have ripped the top off of this game.
3 goals, 2 minutes and 47 seconds is all it took to sap the will out of the Montreal Canadiens in front of their home crowd. But for a brief second, they had life and chances in front of the Carolina net. But that's when Freddie Anderson woke up.
Suzuki fires, and Frederik Andersen can gobble that. And a Bronx cheer in Montreal as a shot on goal finally with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left in the third period for the Canadiens.
The guy who led Carolina to 2 series sweeps in the opening 2 rounds hadn't been asked to do much, but right there kept Carolina's sheet clean, and they were able to take it to the house after Nick Ehlers rang the crossbar in front of an empty net. Andrei Svechnikov sent everybody home.
And here we go, coming in, bingo! Mr. Empty Netter, Andrei Svechnikov puts the cherry on top of the sundae. It's 4-0 Carolina here in Montreal.
Had a great conversation with Canes goalie Brandon Bussey earlier today. He had an amazing seat, sits right there on the bench, and I asked him about the last 3 games of Carolina dominance. I said, could you sense that Montreal had basically resigned themselves to the fact that the game was hopeless? And he told me something that I thought was fascinating. He said, yes, you can. You can see when the other team had run out of ideas, had essentially given up on the game. But then he said the following to me, and I took note of it. He says it won't carry over to tonight. No matter how thoroughly the Hurricanes beat Montreal Wednesday, this is a new game. Canadiens will have no problem putting that behind them, much like Carolina did heading into Game 2 after the Game 1 debacle. Injuries and scratches brought to you by UNC Health, official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. Pyotr Kochetkov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Nick Delorier, Mike Riley, all healthy extras. Now to the lineups. Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov. Game-winning goals for 2 of those 3 in each of the last 2 games. Andre in overtime, Sebastian on the power play in the first period of Game 4. Logan Stankoven between Taylor Hall and Jackson Blake. That line continues to crush it. And, of course, Stankoven got his 8th goal of the playoffs, the 3rd goal in the 3-goal troika of the first period. And Stankoven is Carolina's leading goal scorer. The captain, Jordan Staal, centering Jordan Martinook and Nikolai Ehlers. Eric Robinson, Will Carrier, and Mark Jankowski. Can't say enough about how great that line has been. On defense, Jacob Slavin and Jalen Chatfield. Keandre Miller with Sean Walker, Shane Gostisbehere, and Alexander Nikishin. Gostisbehere's contribution really to Game 4, that blocked shot, which was fantastic, which led to the Stankoven goal. And Frederik Andersen in net. 11-1 on the playoff season, .928 save percentage, 1.44 goals against average. Before we get to the game, and I turn it over to Mike and Tripp, some very sad news yesterday as Claude Lemieux, who is a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Devils, Canadiens, obviously, and the Avalanche twice. He actually brought the torch out to start part of the pregame ceremonies before game number 3. And in the years after his career, he became a player agent. Among his clients, Frederick Anderson. And you know it's an emotional day for Freddie. I talked about it with Rod Brindamore. And his heart has to be heavy. And this is a situation of tragedy that shook the entire NHL world. And they will start today's game with a moment of silence for Claude Lemieux before we get to the anthems. And we will bring you that moment of silence before we turn it over to the game and Mike and Trent. And again, Brendan Lemieux, his son, played for the Hurricanes a couple years ago. And he was a popular teammate here. And Claude Lemieux is one of the most popular players in recent NHL history. And you can hear the Lenovo Center crowd rocking already. They are ready, but they will become quiet when Wade Minter, the PA address announcer, asks for the moment of silence.
Presenting tonight's colors is the Wake Forest Fire Department Honor Guard. The hockey world lost a great champion yesterday with the passing of Claude Lemieux, known across the league as a fierce competitor, the winner of 4 Stanley Cups, and known to our organization as a father and advisor. Claude left a lasting legacy on our great game. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, and every player whose life he impacted. Thank you.
Mike Maniscalco and Tripp Tracy will have the call of Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. This is the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
It's bow time. We know there's a lot of breakfast sandwiches out there, but only Bojangles has the legendary Cajun Filet Biscuit. Shake things up with a boldly seasoned chicken breast on a fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit with bow rounds and your choice of drink. So when you're craving something bold, something different, something that takes breakfast to a whole new level, the Cajun Filet Biscuit is waiting for you, along with crispy bow rounds and a drink. Order in the app or at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuits are served all day, every day. And with that biscuit, why not add Bo's Iced Coffee? That's right, Bo's Iced Coffee with sweet cream. Choose caramel or French vanilla. Bo's new Iced Coffee, a great way to sweeten your day. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a life.
At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed.
72 months. America's best-selling truck comes with a terrific powertrain limited warranty. 10 years or 100,000 miles. Excludes RHO and tungsten. See dealer for details. So get off your keister and get to John Heister, Chrysler Dodge.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave and the home of the brave.
So no lineup changes expected on either side ahead of Game 5 in Carolina. That applies to the starting goalies as well, as Frederik Andersen gets the call for Carolina. He just recorded his 5th career playoff shutout as a member of the Hurricanes in Game 4, which surpasses the 06 Conn Smythe Trophy winner Cam Ward for the most in Hurricane and Hartford Whaler franchise history by a goalie. And Jakub Dobeš goes again for Montreal, coming off a playoff high 40 saves in Game 4 against the Hurricanes. .912 save percentage, .253 goals against average through 18 playoff games for the Canadiens.
A little bit of a wrinkle tonight, Victor, in the starting lineup for Carolina. They've gone with Carrier and Jankowski and Robinson the last 3 games in Montreal. It really is turning into a true championship 4th line, but instead they will come back this evening with a little bit more offense, a bit more flair with Stankoven and Blake and Taylor Hall.
Habs are going to be moving from left to right to start off. They win the face-off but give it away. 2-on-1 Carolina on the first shot attempt of the night. Whistles wide from Jackson Blake. That would have been 8 seconds in, and he found the back of the net for Carolina. It was nearly a nightmare start for the Habs, but they get away with it. And now Matheson under pressure deep in his own zone. As the Hurricanes chase it down in the near corner. Dobson under pressure from Taylor Hall. Canes get it away. Back to the line. Long shot is caught by Dobeš. And how about that for a start for Carolina? 32 seconds in, and they look like they're going to be all over the Habs here to start.
Well, you know what it is that, you know, when you think that you've won the faceoff, there are certain patterns that you want to get into. And unfortunately for the Canadiens, after they do win the draw, the puck gets turned over quickly, and Carolina are quick to jump on it, and it's Hall and Blake, as you mentioned, going in on the 2-on-1. Blake has looked awfully good, had 4 shots on goal in Game 4 and tries for his first, but just blows it high, short side on Dobeš.
Hurricanes get their top line out. DOMO to take the draw for Montreal. It goes back behind the net. Svechnikov gets to it. Feeds it out in front. Low shot for Aho. Kick saved by Dobeš. And he'll gobble up the rebound and hang on for the whistle.
That's that play down low with Svechnikov, who's been such a physical force. We know he's an elite scorer, but physically a strong guy down below the goal line. He pops the puck out to Sebastian Aho, and Lane Hudson gets caught in no man's land as he has to watch this puck go in on Dobeš. A rebound pops out, but Dobeš is able to cover it up for the whistle.
Face-off win for Jordan Staal. Long shot from Slavin carries wide. Habs go after it down low, and they've got control here as Caden Gooley fires it ahead. Suzuki back into the Carolina zone. Hurricanes move it right back through center. And Alexandre Carrier back to retrieve it from Montreal. Given away, though. Here's Ehlers through the middle. Low shot, kick save, and out it goes off the pad of Dobeš. 1:10 in, and it's once again much of the same JP that we've seen over the last 3 games. The Hurricanes swarming Montreal.
Well, it's just those pressure points that come into play. But also Montreal careless with the puck management. That's a pass that comes into Slavkovsky. Tries to corral it with his skates and ends up creating a turnover. And if there's somebody that you don't want to give the puck to right now, it's Nikolai Ehlers, who's looked as dangerous as anybody. Allows Carolina to have real game-changing depth down in their lineup, playing on the 3rd line this evening.
Canadians play it down ice, get into the Carolina zone for the first time tonight with control. As DOMO down low, has Anderson and Texier with him. Played to the line, Hudson moves it back down to the near corner. Puck comes up for Josh Anderson. He's stick checked by Svechnikov. Now back down low again. Texier can't handle it. He's bothered by Keandre Miller. Texier wins the battle though, and his centering try goes all the way back for Lane Hudson.
That's Svechnikov again. I think we got a penalty coming up.
Here's side Montreal with it. And we do have a penalty coming up. Apologies, folks. We got some major issues with our monitor feed right now. And it just sorted itself out, which is a great relief to me as the Canadians have it at center ice. And we'll play it back. Delayed penalty here.
It's going to be on Svechnikov on a trip on Lane Hudson just inside the blue line. Canadians still with control.
And with Dobson drags it all the way back into his own zone. Canadians taking their time. Suzuki to center. Tried to dipsy doodle around Jacob Slavin, and he touched the puck, and the Canadians will get the first power play here 2.5 minutes into the first period.
Well, it's Svechnikov who races out to the point. Lane Hudson just spins away from him. Svechnikov gets caught, and he knows that he's beat, and his left leg comes out and ends up slew-footing Lane Hudson, who regains his feet but can't get away. Keeps the puck alive, but Svechnikov heads off to the penalty box. Canadians will get the power play early on in this game. Unsuccessful, 0 for 2 in Game 2 and only 1 for 8 in this series.
So face-off glove side on Freddie Anderson. Canadians with their first unit. And Suzuki's going to get tossed out of the face-off dots. Slavkovsky in, and the Hurricanes win it away. Jordan Martinook plays it all the way out down the ice. Lane Hudson starts ahead to center. Off to Caulfield, who drops it back. Lane Hudson has the only power play goal in this series, and the Canadians coming over the line offside. And it was a beautiful zone entry play back in Game 3 that saw Caulfield and Hudson connect for the only power play goal for the Habs in the series.
And the big difference on that goal that we're talking about between Caulfield and Hudson is that came off of the rush. We didn't see the traditional slingshot play back to Nick Suzuki. It was Caulfield and Hudson who had the initiative to cross the blue line and then just keep going, and it ends up getting onto Hudson's stick. He tucks it in just inside the left post.
Hurricanes win the faceoff back and launch it all the way down the ice. 90 seconds to go on the power play for Montreal as they advance to center. Here's Suzuki off a drop, trying to go through the middle. It gets away. Anderson out to play it for the Canes. Montreal keep it in. Here's Demidov near side as they get set up. Demidov up top. Tries to go down low. That took a weird deflection, and Freddie Anderson had trouble tracking that. Able to keep it out, though, as the Canadians will float it around far side. Down low now, Suzuki. Pressured by Slavin. He'll find Hudson at the point. Over to Demidov right side. Right back across. Suzuki up high. Down low here, Slavkovsky with a shot. Pad save made by Freddie Anderson as the puck goes to the near corner. The Habs pass it back. No one home now at the line. And it goes out to center.
Just a tremendous play by Lane Hudson. This puck comes back to him at the point, and he rifles it down to the goal line. And it catches Slavkovsky off guard. He's not able to continue on and just redirect that puck in on net. That's the best look that the Canadians have had in ages.
Montreal up to center ice. Snapped in by Texier. 15 seconds to go on the power play for Montreal. As Doc, near side wing, shovels it down low. Bolduc over to Texier. Centering try. Newhook was there, but couldn't get a clean shot off, and the Canes clear it one last time as the Canadians are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight.
And Canadians have something to build off of that power play, but the Hurricanes show why they're operating at just about 94% so far in the playoffs in the power play.
Habs drive it into the Hurricane zone. In behind the net, here's Zach Bolduc. Turns it round the boards, back down low again. Near side, Philip Deneau. Long try to the net. That ricochets off of Freddie Anderson and ends up in the far corner. William Carrier plays it ahead, and he was run into by Josh Anderson, able to brace for the hit, though, at the last second as the Hurricanes flop it down ice. Here's Robinson, high shot. That's snagged by Dobish for the whistle with 14:46 left in the first period.
Dobish shakes this off as that puck comes in high from Robinson. He's got a couple of goals, 3 points in the third round. And this fourth line, as I mentioned earlier on, is turning itself into a real kind of championship depth fourth line. Carrier had 5 shots in Game 4. He had 7 shots in the remainder of the playoffs and 5 in Game 4.
Face-off blocker side on Dobish. It's won by Montreal and just played out to center. As the Hurricanes get back to it, Taylor Hall flings it in. They're tied at 0 in the early stages of Game 5. Shots read 4-1 Carolina. Gooley behind his net. Snaps it around. All the way up to center. Was it tipped? Yes, it was. And Jake Evans gets first to it anyway as he tries to center. He can't get it through Chatfield. And here go the Hurricanes to center ice with Blake and Stankoven. 2-by-2 over the blue line. Passed across. Give and go as a shot attempt from Sean Walker was stifled. And the Canadiens come back to center, and it's gently moved into the Hurricane zone. Carolina behind their own net. Keandre Miller on it. He'll take his time here as the Hurricanes complete a line change. Passes ahead for Jordan Staal. Carried in over the blue line. Staal into the far corner. Bumped off the puck by Struble. Can't stay with it. And it came out in front for Martinook, whose shot glances off of Dobish as it's back out at center. Slavkovsky fending off pressure, feeds it over to Nick Suzuki. Right side, low centering try, hit the Hurricane defender. That was Nick Ehlers.
Very close to being redirected in by Ehlers.
And Nick Ehlers has iced the puck here as he pitchforked it all the way out down the ice with 13:11 left in the first period.
Well, there's something that we've seen, or that we haven't seen a whole lot of from Slavkovsky in the last couple of games. It's been the ability to hold people off. Such a big man himself, but there's a nice example early on. The Canadiens can look to that perhaps as a sign that Slavkovsky's ready as he's holding off Jordan Staal.
Joe Valeno in with Doc and Bolduc for the face-off in the offensive zone. Jordan Staal to take it for Carolina. Battle for it off the draw. And it'll be picked up by Doc in the far corner. Under pressure, he drags it away. Now Bolduc in there to help. He gets driven into the boards as Carolina win the battle and play it to center, right back in. That's going to be called offside on Montreal. That'll send us to our first break of the evening with 12:51 to go in Game 5. We've got no score yet on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Montreal is in the conference finals, and Fans First has tickets for every game. Buy directly from season ticket holders with no fees. Fans First, a Canadian company made by fans for fans. Get your tickets today at fansfirst.ca.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5 TV, with RDS and more sports channels, plus 500 internet, all for $99 a month. And get a $100 prepaid MasterCard. Includes autopay credit. Visit Bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you, all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
Canadiens Hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
JP, the first 2 minutes of Game 5 were a little chaotic, a little too chaotic for the Canadiens, but since then they get the power play. They don't score on it, but they've settled things down here a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's something to build off for sure, and I think if you're Montreal Canadiens, you're on the bench. First of all, you're not down. There's still the opportunity to get the first goal, which I think will be massive this evening. The Canadiens are able to get that, and there's no sense in being tentative. And I think one thing that the Canadiens, at least early on here, have been able to do is establish a little bit of offensive zone presence. And most importantly is get out of their own zone in a timely manner.
12:51 to go in period number 1 of Game 5, and the Hurricanes have it at center. Here's Jordan Martinook, far wing. We'll move it to the side of the net. Dobish plays it around. So it comes ahead to center. Picked up by Dobson, skated right in, low shot, and Freddie Anderson shuts the door. As Carolina play it back out through center. Matheson after it. He's driven into the boards by Jordan Stahl. Canes in on the forecheck. It's taken away by Jarvis. Centering try. Picked up by the Habs. And retrieved by Jarvis at center. Drives back in over the Montreal line. Plays it down low for Dobson. And takes a hit as it comes over to Aho. To the line. Deflected high into the air. And settled down by Slavkovsky. Here goes Texier to center. He'll chuck it in. Goes after the puck with Keandre Miller as Texier's stick explodes at 2. Played back out to the Montreal zone. And in behind their own net with 11:36 to go in the first. Caden Gooley on it. No score yet in Raleigh. Gooley snaps it around the boards. This goes all the way out and down the ice. This will be an icing call.
That's the second time that we've seen that play from Gooley behind the net as he waits till he gets a little bit of support down in the his own defensive zone and then turns and rims the puck hard up the boards, up the bench side. This time for the Canadiens, nobody's able to get a stick on it. It's going to come right back down into their zone for a face-off. Philip Deneau's in to take it.
And Philip Deneau is able to win it as there's a Hurricane player down off the draw. Slow to his feet. That Taylor Hall?
Yeah, it looks like it is, yes.
As the Canadiens come into the Carolina zone, low shot, kicked away by Anderson. And Hall stays out there, a little groggy, but he's got the puck now at center. Slides it in over the Montreal line. Taylor Hall, near corner, to the point for Gostisbehere. Far side, wide open, one-time rip from Alexander Nikishin. That was 94 miles an hour, and it's stopped by Dobish. As here comes Jackson Blake back in near side. Stankovic, stick handles, they score! And Taylor Hall, who stays with it after being roughed up on the face-off, finds a way to poke it through, and it's 1-0. Carolina.
It's a nice little individual effort by Logan Stankoven as he comes down the left-hand side of the ice. Right-handed shot. He drops his shoulder, drives the puck to the net, loses the handle on it, but it ends up coming across the blue paint. And Taylor Hall, who had been shaken up earlier in the play, decided to stay out rather than head back for a change. Finds himself in the back post and finds his puck right at his stick that he shovels in the back of the net. That's his 5th goal of the playoffs, and it opens up the scoring for the Canes in Carolina.
I'm wondering, JP, if the Habs might have a look at this for goalie interference on the net drive from Stankoven.
Listen, we saw the Canadiens. There it is.
There
right
it is.
There.
Yep.
Listen, we saw the Canadiens having to take a timeout last game to see if they wanted to challenge. They ended up letting that goal go. But we can take a look right now, and you can see it. I would assume, Victor, that you see Stankoven coming in. His skates end up plowing into Dobesh's right pad, who's sealing the post. I think that there's a chance that this goal comes back.
I think there is too, JP. Stankoven goes in. He wasn't pushed in. However, he does make contact with the right pad of Dobish. The puck goes in on the left side, and that can make a difference in the ruling. So if they feel like the goalie interference did not change the outcome of that puck going in, it wouldn't have made a difference, then the goal's going to stand.
So if I'm the Canadiens bench right now, my argument as that player comes in and hits Dobesh's right pad, it lifts his left pad off of the ice. It doesn't allow him to seal the ice area, and it ends up sliding in under that left pad. That's the argument that I would make. That is what I think is going to happen.
Challenge video review, it was determined that there was no goaltender interference. Therefore, we have a goal. Montreal is assessed event final penalty for delay game.
So they call it a goal.
Wow, that's confusing one to me, and you can see Marty St. Louis on the bench, I think, feels very much the same way. Now here's the danger, obviously, as the Canadiens challenge that call. Goal is good. Now the Canadiens will get a delay of game penalty.
So again, JP, I'm thinking here they must have felt like the contact from Stankoven didn't affect the outcome of the puck going in.
Just
because he hits him on the right side and the puck goes in on the left. That's got to be the rationale.
That is the rationale. I think it's the wrong one. If you look at the left pad, as he gets hit and pushed back, the left pad comes up. That would be my argument, and I'm sure that will be what we hear from the Canadiens in post-game questions.
Canadiens had challenged only 3 times for goalie interference this year. They were right on 2 of them. But this one's going to be costly as the Hurricanes go up 1 in Game 5, and now they've got a fresh 2 minutes on the power play. As Nick Ehlers at center. Skates it in over the line. Montreal's PK has been pretty stingy on this, or in this series rather, 13 for 14. As here's Ehlers with a shot. That's stopped in front. Back to the line. Gostisbehere over to Ehlers. Near side, Jarvis. Goes after it down low. Passes around for Ehlers. Up to the line. Gostisbehere. Shot fanned on it. Comes over to Aho near wing. Back down low behind the net for Ehlers. Far side corner, Svechnikov back behind the net. Svechnikov has broken his stick here. He's trying to kick it back to the line. The Canadiens intercept it and fling it all the way out down ice. That'll leave a minute to go. And this Carolina man advantage. The Canes come out to center. Here's Taylor Hall over the blue line, hands it off. Blake for Stankoven. His shot is stopped by Dobish. And he'll freeze it for the whistle.
Well, we're going to see a little bit in the back post again. Is that Dobish didn't like that play, and Taylor Hall is still in and around that blue paint. He's having a look with Gooley. And you mentioned it, Victor, that actually both teams on the penalty kill have been pretty stingy. Canes were able to get their first power play goal of the series in Game 4, and it still went 1 for 6. Only 1 for 14 in the series.
Hurricanes win the faceoff. At the point, here's Keandre Miller. He'll take his time with it. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Wrister, that's blocked in front, and the Habs will hastily clear it down the ice. Miller back to center. Hurricanes coming over the blue line. Near side, Jackson Blake stripped of the puck. And Evans out to center. It's picked up by Newhook. Down the near side, Miller shuts him off along the boards, and it'll be carried to center ice by Jackson Blake. Power play is over as it's Bolduc back on the ice. He was serving the minor. The Hurricanes have it far side. 5-on-5. This is given away. And now Bolduc out to center by himself. Skates it right in. Little backhand try that goes up off the stick of Slavin and out of play. That'll leave 8:23 to go in this first period. The Canadiens do not get the call overturned on the Taylor Hall goal. That comes at 9:17 from Stankoven and Blake on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at NHL.com/Heritage Classic.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
Back inside Lenovo Center. It is a 1-0 lead for the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 5 with 8:23 to play in this first period. The Habs don't get the challenge to go their way, but JP, they do get the penalty killed.
Yeah, that's the most important for Montreal. Can't do much about that getting overturned. I do think it was the right thing to challenge, Victor, but at least you don't let the Canes double down with the ensuing power play.
Here comes Martinook near side into the Montreal zone. Played around the boards, far corner, down low Stahl. Behind the Montreal net. To the blue line. Chatfield, long shot, that goes wide. Suzuki tried to play it around, that's picked off in front. Two big pad saves made by Jakub Dobiš. He covers up and bails out another sloppy turnover by the Canadiens from deep in their own zone.
Well, his puck pops out from below the goal line, and it should have been handled easily as it slides through Strubal's legs onto Stahl's stick. He can't believe what's happened. He turns around, rifles it in. The first save is made by Dobiš. Martinook gets on the back of it. He has a go at it, and then it gets loose and tangled up underneath Dobiš. He's able to get his legs as he sits on that puck. But the Canadiens playing with fire. Only 3 shots in the game, down 10-3 right now, and 1-0 on the score.
Canadiens flip it out to center. Carolina back on it. And here they come over the line with Stankoven. Slides it over, driving the net. Jackson Blake can't get it through. Canadiens pick it up far side. Skate to center. And play it in deep behind the Carolina net. Flipped out to center ice. Settled down by Montreal. Dobson gives it away at center. Here's Svechnikov right back in. Left side with a wrister. That's caught. And frozen by Dobiš.
You know, Svechnikov understands in that spot that he's got nobody with him. Stankoven's gone for a change. It's a 1-on-4 play. But Svechnikov picks the puck up inside the blue line, gets an angle that he likes, uses one of the Canadiens' defenders as a screen. And then just a quick flick of the wrists and challenges Dobiš to the far right side. Dobiš with the glove save.
Aho versus Suzuki off the faceoff. Aho wins it back for Miller. Miller tries the snapshot. That one takes a deflection wide, and the net gets knocked off, and there's going to be a penalty. And will it be on Dobiš or Svechnikov?
It looks like they're giving it to Svechnikov. At least his facial reaction is such. He crashed into the back post, and you can see Dobiš. You can see Dobiš spin around thinking that it was potentially on him. There was collision in the blue paint. Svechnikov actually skates in behind Dobiš, takes the post off. Victor, you're looking at me like you think that the Canadiens might have gotten away with one.
I don't know what to make of that one, JP.
Well, listen,
I don't know what to make of that
Whose crease does it belong to?
Jakub Dobiš.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's
and Svechnikov skated into it.
You got it.
Yeah.
So that to me is, I can understand the argument and I can understand the reaction with the crowd. But if it's anywhere other than in the blue paint and behind Dobiš, I think that call doesn't get made.
Well, anyway, you slice it. The Canadiens are on the power play here. They're 0 for 1 tonight. Got to go out to center to start this one as they come back in over the line. Far side, Suzuki. Into the corner, he's got Caulfield with him. Spun around the boards, Demidov right side. Taken away by Carolina. And played all the way in by Jordan Martinook. Here comes Lane Hudson. Defers to Caulfield. Back off to Nick Suzuki. Right side, down low, it's taken away by Sean Walker, and he'll rip that all the way around the boards and out down the ice.
But Carolina does such a good job standing up at the blue line, makes it so difficult for Montreal to find an entrance. And at this point, if you're Lane Hudson with the puck, I think I would try my luck at skating it in myself, trying to get the puck down low.
This is ripped in by Texier. Doc out there now with Alex Newhook. The puck comes around for Texier. Got Bolduc through the middle. And Dobson at the line. Newhook right side boards. Off to Bolduc. Back to Dobson. Long shot carries wide. It's be picked up by Jarvis and played out through center. 32 seconds remaining in the 5-on-4 for Montreal as they trail 1-0 with 5.5 to go in the first period. Canadians all the way up to center. Slide it back for Texier. Stick handles in over the line. And then gives it away. As the Hurricanes try and clear. Jankowski unable to do so. It comes back behind the Carolina net. Now Robinson on it. Off the boards. Out to center. Robinson goes for a skate far side. Gets a wrister off. That's corralled by Dobish just as the power play for Montreal expires. 4:57 to go in the first. Habs are 0 for 2 on the power play, and they trail Game 5 1-0 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Are you moving, downsizing, or upsizing your home? Say goodbye to moving woes. Visit Depodium Mini Entrepot and store your items safely until your big day arrives. Try 4 weeks free. Limited units available. Details at Depodium.com.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
I've always wondered what kind of tires they put on the Zamboni.
I bet they're not summer tires.
Maybe all season?
I doubt it.
Yeah, good point.
Point S, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Jeez, feels like the Habs are always on the road.
I hope they have good tires.
They fly.
Yeah, good point.
Point S, until June 30th, get $100 on a prepaid card when you buy 4 eligible Hankook tires. Details at points.ca.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
4:57 to go in the first. In Game 5 at Lenovo Center, it's a 1-0 lead for Carolina. They are out shooting the Canadiens 13-3. And so far, JP, we're seeing a lot of things in Game 5 that have been similar to what we've seen through Games 2 through 4 in this series.
As this period progresses, I agree with you. I thought the Canadians looked a little bit better on their first power play opportunity, but that second one didn't seem to get any zone time set up, nor when they got in were they able to snap the puck around. You can see that the penalty kill for Carolina is a well-oiled machine right now. They understand exactly where they need to go and when to stifle the Canadians' power play.
Face-off, glove side on Dobish. This will be Deneau versus Stankoven. And Deneau's going to get tossed. So Veleno in his place. It's Deneau with Anderson and Veleno right now on this line as the Hurricanes win it back. Nikishin rolls it down low. Picked up by Taylor Hall. Passes off and they score! Logan Stankoven with a wrister off the far side, and it's 2-0 Carolina.
Just some weak defensive coverage in the Canadian zone. Mike Matheson has his stick tangled up with the Canes forward, with Hall behind the net, has to let him go, or that would have been an automatic hooking call. And Logan Stankoven just loses his way away from Joe Veleno, finds the space he needs. Hall gets the puck out to him, and it's a nice shot, short side, under the bar. Can't get more precise with that. And the Canes are up 2 on Stankoven's 9th.
At JP, that was only 61 miles an hour, but that was all about the placement rather than the power.
Well, I agree with you, and I would add something to what you just said. The placement and the location. He was only 10 feet away from the net.
So once again, it's the second line that comes through for Carolina. That line was so productive for them in the first 2 rounds. Stankoven's 9th of the Stanley Cup playoffs here from Hall and Nikishin at 15-12 of the first has made it 2-0 Hurricanes. Here's Svechnikov in from center. Stripped away by Montreal. And back the other way they go. Demidov with a wrister that's stifled by Miller. And then promptly shoves him into the boards. As the Hurricanes come out through the neutral zone. This will be picked up by Gooley. And he'll skate it around behind the Montreal net. 4 minutes to play in the first. Habs roll it out to center. Chatfield takes a swipe at it, and he's chopped it right out of play into the Carolina bench. So that second line, they started the game, JP, as you noted tonight. Jackson Blake almost got one 8 seconds into this, and Taylor Hall and Stankoven have both scored since.
They have, and I think that's 2 points there in this game for Taylor Hall, who's bumped up his tally to 15 points so far in this playoff series.
Habs take it away off the ozone face-off, centering try, and there's a good shot that's stopped by Freddie Anderson. That was Suzuki in front. Best save of the game thus far for Frederik Anderson as the Hurricanes come away to center ice, and Chatfield plays it in. Habs get set off the breakout as Mike Matheson slides it over to Dobson, who will shoot it in. Anderson stops it, plays it back around to the right side. Canadians cut it off, but the Hurricanes were able to launch it out to center. Flip play, and here goes Robinson streaking in. Low shot, and he scores! And Eric Robinson, off the alley-oop through center, picks it up, busts in, and it's 3-0 Hurricanes.
That's quite literally 200 feet. That puck was pinned against Carolina's back wall, and it's a turn, and it's a lob from Walker. Robinson comes from miles. He's at the top of his own circles in the defensive zone. He gets into a foot race with Mike Matheson, who's in the middle of the ice, and Robinson just has the angle, gets the puck settled, but it's still standing up, and as he fires it, it just finds its way through the 5-hole. Dobesh, who lowers his head in frustration, and it's a 3-goal lead for the Canes.
And JP, how many times have we seen the Habs set up Josh Anderson for a breakaway just like that? This time it's Robinson for Carolina. His third of the playoffs, second of the series, comes from William Carrier and Freddie Anderson, the goalie, as Dobish has frozen the puck here for a D-zone faceoff. And just like it was in Game 4, it's now 3-0 Carolina in the first.
That's a tough pill to swallow for Montreal, but give Carolina credit. They've done exactly what they wanted to do. They got the first goal, and they've punished Montreal since.
Hurricanes at center. Played right to Texier. He'll drop it back into the Montreal zone. And back out. It comes down the near wing. Anderson drops it off. Far side to no. Passes it around the boards. Lane Hudson from the line. It's picked up by Carolina and forked right back out to center ice as the Canadians toss it back around in their own zone. Lane Hudson behind his own net. A rifle a pass out to center. It's deflected in. Zach Bolduc protects it from Shane Gostisbehere. And off the cycle, it's picked off by Carolina, and out to center ice they go with Seth Jarvis. Carries in near side wing. All the way to the corner. Now Aho is roughed up a little bit by Gooley as Svechnikov gets it loose behind the net. Shrugs off Kirby Dach. Now Nikishin down low. All the way around into the corner. Nikishin able to shake off pressure. Finds Gostisbehere at the point. Back down low again. This time it's picked off by Zach Bolduc. And he'll flip it right to Joe Veleno, who comes out to center. It's wrenched away by Carolina with 1:22 left in the first.
Well, let me tell you something. You got to keep an eye on Svechnikov and Doc for the rest of the game, as they were really getting into it. Just down by Dobek's post. Svechnikov had position, but there was a couple of big bangs down below the goal line.
Habs throw it out to center. Demidov goes back into his own zone. Now pick up speed with a seam pass that finds Jake Evans. He'll throw it in. Canadians near side have to retreat to center. Back into their own zone. Puck goes back out to neutral territory. That'll be thrown right back in by William Carrier with just 36 seconds left in the first. Canes up 3-0. Matheson feeds it over. Here's Caulfield. Far side, there's a bit of a commotion at the blue line. Either a penalty or an offside here. That whistles the play down.
I think you could call this an interference call on Nick Suzuki at the blue line. I don't know if that is going to be the case. But Keandre Miller's coming across the blue. Nick Suzuki is just fighting for position, and there's a collision on a stretch pass from the Canadian zone. And I think this is just going to be an offside call.
Yeah, it must be. Yep, they're showing us now that they're lined up 5-on-5. No one's in the box. So offside. Leaves us 26 seconds to play in the first. Canadians win the face-off, but Lane Hudson fans on the shoot-in. Carolina drive back down the other way. It's kicked down low. Struble picks it up for Montreal. And he'll hoist it all the way out through center. Rolling back to the Carolina end of the ice. It'll be picked up. And then given away. Bad turnover. Hudson in front with a shot, and it's blocked by Keandre Miller, who bails out Carolina in the final seconds of the first period.
Well, just a golden opportunity for the Canadians to get one in the last couple of seconds as Lane Hudson takes this puck, fires it in. Keandre Miller goes down to the ice and blocks it to keep it a 3-0 lead.
All things considered, this was not the first period the Canadians were hoping for tonight. Taylor Hall at 9:17, Stankoven at 15:12, and Eric Robinson at 16:52 have the Hurricanes in front 3-0, just as it was after 20 minutes in game number 4. The first intermission roundtable is coming up next, brought to you by Fans First. Tickets for every game you need. Buy directly from season ticket holders. No additional fees. FansFirst.ca. After 20, 3-0 Carolina on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
The Morning Show with Connor McKenna and Sean Starr. Your one-stop shop for everything from in-depth discussion with the most plugged-in people on the Habs and the NHL to hard-hitting commentary on what is and absolutely is not an acceptable topping to put on a cheeseburger. Whether it's 4 minutes or 4 hours, it's the best way to spend a part of your morning. The Morning Show with McKenna and Starr. Weekdays starting at 6, TSN 690.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply. When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
For the first time in a decade, The NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at nhl.com/Heritage Classic.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, SOR Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, SOR Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, SOR Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by La Cage, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
Canadiens Hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Near side wing. Shovels it down low. Bolduc over to Texie. Centering try. Newhook was there, but couldn't get a clean shot off, and the Canes clear it one last time. Here comes Jackson Blake back in near side. Stankoven, stick handles, they score! And Taylor Hall, who stays with it after being roughed up on the faceoff, finds a way to poke it through, and it's 1-0 Carolina.
So if I'm the Canadiens bench right now, my argument as that player comes in and hits Dobesh's right pad, it lifts his left pad off of the ice. It doesn't allow him to seal the ice area, and it ends up sliding in under that left pad. That's the argument that I would make. That is what I think is going to happen.
Challenge video review. It was determined that there was no goaltender interference. Therefore, we have a goal. Montreal just has bench final penalty for the game.
To the blue line. Chatfield, long shot. That goes wide. Suzuki tried to play it around. That's picked off in front. Two big pad saves made by Jakub Dobesh. He covers up and bails out another sloppy turnover by the Canadiens from deep in their own zone. Nikishin rolls it down low. Picked up by Taylor Hall. Passes off and they score. Logan Stankoven with a wrister off the far side, and it's 2-0 Carolina. Plays it back around to the right side. Canadiens cut it off, but the Hurricanes were able to launch it out to center. Flip play, and here goes Robinson streaking in. Low shot, and he scores! And Eric Robinson, off the alley-oop through center, picks it up, busts in, and it's 3-0. Rolling back to the Carolina end of the ice. It'll be picked up and then given away. Bad turnover. Hudson in front of the shot, and it's blocked by Keandre Miller, who bails out Carolina in the final seconds of the first period.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens hockey here on TSN 690. I'm Mitch Gallo with Lucas Scott. The Canadiens trail the Carolina Hurricanes 3-0 after the first period of play in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. Carolina already leading the series 3-1. Your first period scoring summary: 9-17, Taylor Hall scores goal number 5 from Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake. 15-12, Stankoven, his 9th of the postseason, with Taylor Hall and Alexander Nikishin getting assists. And then at 16-52, Eric Robinson, goal number 3 from Will Carrier. It is time for the first intermission roundtable. Mitch Gallo, Lucas Scott, and we have JP O'Connor with us. JP, just when you thought the Canadiens couldn't play any worse compared to what they did in the first period of Game 4, Well, they tried in the first period of Game 5.
Well, it was very close, wasn't it, Mitch, in the first couple of seconds to Carolina opening the score within, I guess it was the first 10 with the crazy play off of the face-off where they turn it over and allow Jackson Blake to come in, and he gets a shot off, and it looked like it just kind of put the Canadiens on their heels. Now, granted, you get through the first 3 or 4 minutes, you think, okay, we've maybe settled down a little bit. You get an opportunity on a power play. I think right there was where you would want to try and convert on that, get the opening goal, and at least take some of the pressure off of you. And unfortunately, the Canadiens give up the first. They give up the second one shortly thereafter on a careless play with Veleno in the zone. Just let Stankoven get too loose and gets punished. And then it just looked like the kind of floodgates were about to open as that kind of 200-foot flip lands nicely for Robinson, and he gets that puck to go 5-hole on Dobesh.
JP, what is Carolina's penalty kill doing to disrupt Montreal? Because you look throughout the entirety of the season, but in the playoffs as well, there were certain times where they got a pivotal goal that kind of turned the tide on the power play, and for whatever reason, despite, yes, I know being down 3-0, they had 2 power plays to try to get one on the board and kind of give themselves some momentum.
So let me just start off more on the positive side for the Canadiens in the first power play. Yeah. Now, in your mind's eye, when you're picturing how the Canadiens are set up, and I don't want to get too technical on this, but I always call it stations. So if you have Hudson, who's at the top and he's controlling the puck, and then conversely, you maybe have Slavkovsky, who's down on the goal line, and you have Suzuki off to the flank or somebody like that. If you can go from the top of the blue line and get it down to the goal line, you go more than one station away. A station is just one quick pass over the guy who's closest to you. If you can go 2 stations, you're able to take away some of that pressure, because the key to Carolina's penalty kill is pressure, and it's anticipation. So the pressure comes from the first guy who's pressuring the puck, and the anticipation is coming from everybody else who's jumping to where the puck could go. That's why whenever the first guy goes, everybody activates, everybody moves into where the puck could possibly go. So right now, on that first opportunity that the Canadiens had, I thought they did a better job of moving the puck around. Got away from it a little bit on the second one, and that's why I think you see all the steam come out of the Canadiens' power play. It's all about pressure for the Carolina Hurricanes and the anticipation of everybody else jumping into where the puck could end up. So when that puck gets over there, if it makes it over to the next spot, then there's somebody on you right away, and it's very tough to handle it and keep the puck under control.
JP, can we talk about the challenge for a second here?
Yeah, of course. Mitch, it's funny. As soon as the period ended, I checked on a couple things, and I wanted to go back and look at it. And I saw that you were really critical of the challenge. You said it was horrendous or whatever it was. Tell me why you felt like it was such a bad challenge. I'm not sure if I agree with you on this.
Yeah, well, I heard you in the highlight explaining the argument that can be made. And sure, you can make the argument that you're talking about, JP, but I read not too long ago that Gary Bettman had a message for all the general managers, and that message was, if you are going to challenge a goalie interference call, make sure you are absolutely sure. And I look at that play, and I can hear your argument, but I can also hear the Carolina argument saying Stankoven's just taking the puck to the net there. And he's Dobesh is actually not really disrupted in making a save by the slight contact.
I don't agree. You and I are going to agree to disagree on this one, because you're correct in that he takes the puck to the net, but he also goes down and his skates hit Dobesh in the right pad, and in doing so, Dobesh is not able to seal the ice with his left pad, and it ends up going through his legs. That is, I think, the crux of the argument. And if you're the Montreal Canadiens and you're having this discussion quickly with your team upstairs, that is the argument that they're making, and I think it's a fair argument to make. I genuinely do. Victor is going to send you, Mitch, if he hasn't already, there is a sequence that happened in a game against Philly, and it's very, very similar. It happened last season, but there is far less contact. And the argument that Victor and I had kind of going back and forth where he felt like it was going to be a good goal was that Yes, there was a little bit of contact, not as much as in this case, but the puck goes in on the opposite side. It goes in inside the left post, and because it went in on that side, that was the reasoning behind not having the goal overturned. I felt like there was far more contact in this instance, and the direct result of the impact was that the ice was not able to be sealed. I'm really curious, Mitch, and as I'm sure you are, to hear what Marty St. Louis, because he will be asked about this as what was your reasoning. If it's anything other than that, I would be really surprised.
Yeah, from the contact, I don't feel the left leg moves out of position that much, and I don't think Taylor Hall doesn't score if there's let me put it to you like this. I think if there's no contact, Dobesh still doesn't make a save there.
If there's no well, yeah, again, this is where you and I are our paths are gonna split. I think that if Dobesh is able to maintain position of his pads, just from the weight that he has on them, there's just the basic position that he's in, that there's no way that puck slides through.
I'll tell you this: I'd rather hear an NHL explanation than Martin St. Louis complaining about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we'll probably see the explanation come out. Would you agree?
I mean, they often on plays like this will release a statement.
Yeah, I think that's what we should be waiting for, because it didn't work out. The Canadians challenge, it blew up in their face. They weren't necessarily punished right afterwards on the penalty kill, but the fact remains that it's your coach who is he's making that call, but there's a team of people that are behind that, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I know. JP?
Yes, sir.
Maybe we'll revisit this in the postgame, because
I think that's probably a good idea.
If we talk about other things, I don't know what we're going to talk about in the postgame, because it's not going to be pretty the way things are trending. Thank you, JP.
You're most welcome. Thanks, Mitch.
Canadians trailing 3-0 after 1 in Game 5. Out-of-town scoreboard next.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
Scoring big starts at Voisin. Through the playoffs, your 20-pack of Molson Canadian cans is at minimum price. Stop by Voisin before the puck drops. Voisin, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
You're listening to the home of sports in Montreal. TSN 690, CKGM, and iHeart Radio Station.
Montreal, the moment you've all been waiting for. Teddy Swims. The Ugly Tour. October 7th at the Bell Center. Get your tickets at teddyswims.com.
Abrysvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrysvo. Visit abrysvo.ca.
The first intermission is brought to you by Wegovy. Ask your doctor for Wegovy by name and visit wegovy.ca for savings. Some exclusions may apply.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV, with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet, all for $99 a month. And get a $100 prepaid MasterCard. Includes autopay credit. Visit Bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at nhl.com/Heritage Classic.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
Don't forget your out-of-town scoreboard here. The first intermission roundtable was brought to you by Fans First. Tickets for every game you need. Buy directly from season ticket holders. No additional fees. Check out fansfirst.ca. Obviously, nothing else on the out-of-town scoreboard as far as the National Hockey League, but World Hockey Championship. Don't miss Finland versus Canada at 2. Coming up next, second period play between Carolina and Montreal in Game 5 on TSN 690.
Montreal is in the conference finals, and Fans First has tickets for every game. Buy directly from season ticket holders with no fees. Fans First, a Canadian company made by fans for fans. Get your tickets today at fansfirst.ca. Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
Welcome back to Habs hockey on TSN 690. We're just getting settled in here for the start of the third period. Or check that, start of the second period. Don't want to jump too far ahead here. I've got a 3 in my mind because it is 3-0 Carolina after 20 minutes of play. Victor Finley with JP O'Connor on the call. And the Montreal Canadiens have 40 minutes to try and score at least 3 goals to prolong their season. They will need 4 to win this game as they'll move from right to left in the second stanza. Hurricanes throw it in from center. And Caden Gooley will move it ahead as Demidov comes to center ice. He's out there with Newhook and Nick Suzuki right now. As the Hurricanes move it back down ice, here's Jarvis moving in, shot, and 2 big stops from Jakub Dobiš as he denied the first and stopped the rebound as well. And another close call for Montreal to start the second period, and now Jarvis is taken down and Nick Suzuki has taken a penalty.
This is his Team Canada teammate, gets the right hand loose as Jarvis is heading into the corner. Referee's arm goes up and Suzuki pushes him down for good measure. How Seth Jarvis missed on this opportunity is beyond me. He gets the first shot in after there was a stick change, and it was a late play coming back into the zone. Jarvis fires this puck in. It comes right back out to him, and I think he rings it off the outside of Jakub Dobiš's net. That should have been 4.
Might get another chance here on the power play as the Hurricanes are 0 for 1. Montreal win the face-off back. Carolina just 1 for 15 now in this Eastern Conference Final Series. Carolina get it back to the point as Stankoven dishes off. Back out in front, Stankoven put it off the outside of the net. And he had a good look right there for Carolina as the Canes throw it around. Stankoven has his pass go off a skate and all the way back out through center for Keandre Miller.
Oh, that net's getting a heavy workout. That's the exact same spot that Seth Jarvis hit. Stankoven gets another look, and he rings it off the outside of the net.
Hurricanes get set up again. Minute 20 left in their power play. Miller passes off left side. Comes back to Miller. Up high at the point. Habs apply pressure. Matheson in the way. Stripped away now by Evans, and he'll throw it out through center ice.
Mike Matheson was up on that play, but rather than chase it down, see if he can get into a race with Keandre Miller, he peels off, heads back to the bench for fresh bodies. That's a smart play with Mike Matheson.
Carolina to center ice. And on the left side, picked off by Dobson, and he'll fire it all the way down. As the Hurricanes pick it up with just 35 seconds left in their 5-on-4.
It's interesting to see Caden Gooley out on the play. We'd seen him heading back to the bench, was not comfortable. Now he's gone off in exchange for Mike Matheson.
Here's Deneau at center. He'll weave his way through and over the blue line. Might have a shot here, and it's a weak one that's easily kicked away by Freddie Anderson. Carolina come back to center. Just 10 seconds left for the Canadiens to kill. Jarvis, right side, in transition, rolls it in on net. And Dobiš went for the poke check. It's not going to matter here, though, as it goes off his pads and the Habs clear it out. So that's it for the Carolina power play. 17:07 to go in the second. 3-0 for Carolina in Game 5. As the Canadiens go back into their own zone, Carolina shoot it in. Juraj Slafkovsky on the ice with Caulfield and Suzuki. The Habs move it around here under pressure by the Hurricane forecheck. Suzuki down low, scoops it up. Ahead to Caulfield. Snaps it off far side, Slafkovsky back down low. Comes around for him to the line for Hudson. Back off to Slafkovsky. Tries the shot, that's off a stick and well high and out of play.
A couple of quick passes that the puck finally gets up ice, and it's Slafkovsky who skates it towards the middle off of the wall, and he's trying to funnel that puck down to Cole Caulfield down by the goal line. See if he can get his teammate going with at least a shot. Caulfield's been so quiet. Only 6 shots in the last 4 games. It's got to be bombs away from him anytime he gets close to it.
.25 to go in the second. Face-off in Carolina territory, and the Canes win it away. There's a Hab down off the draw here, and it's Joe Veleno.
Yep, he's holding his face, caught a high stick.
Arm in the air, and looks like it's going to be 2 minutes here on Carolina.
It looks like it's Slavin. It's going to be Nikishin.
Number 21, 2 minutes, high sticking.
So it is just a 2. And Nikishin did get him up high.
Just a solid battle off of the face-off with Nikishin and Veleno fighting for position. Nikishin just lifts the stick as he tries to clear Veleno out of the way, but ends up catching him in the mouth.
Habs are 0 for 2 tonight on the power play. They've got no shots officially on either as they'll set up top. Here's Hudson. Far side Demidov. Off to Slafkovsky. Now Hudson, long shot. There's a shot that's turned away by Freddie Anderson. And it comes out to center as Hudson gathers it again with 1:36 to go in the man advantage. Here's Suzuki through center ice. Down low it rolls behind the net for Slafkovsky. Snapped off the boards at the point. Here's Lane Hudson. Far side, Suzuki out in front. Caulfield was there, couldn't get the shot off though. That was a bullet of a pass. Though Caulfield was wide open as the Habs from the line. Back outside of the net. Caulfield can't get that to go either. And the Carolina Hurricanes clear it out with 1 minute to go on the power play.
Well, 2 in a row in the back post. We're talking about Cole Caulfield getting some shots with 2 glorious opportunities and does not register one.
Hudson in over the Hurricane blue line. Stripped away by the Canes and flung out and all the way down the ice once again. Dobish leaves it behind the net. Picked up by Dobson. Skated to center. He'll snap it in. Comes around for Jankowski. He'll push it all the way out. Down the rest of the way. And Bolduca's on it again for Montreal. Second unit out there. 12 seconds left in the power play. Broken up again, this time by Keandre Miller just over the line. And he'll rifle that off the glass and down the ice. That'll be it. Habs are about to go 0 for 3 on the power play. They do record a shot on that last one. Being outshot 17-6 in this game. That has 14:08 to go in the second period, and Carolina lead 3-0. Matheson behind the net and no rush here. And he'll give it away off the boards. Picked up again by Dobson, though. Slows it down behind the net. Taylor Hall's all over him. Montreal breakouts moving like molasses right now.
It's a heck of a read by Taylor Hall on the wall to keep that puck in.
And again, the Canadiens just throw it away aimlessly near side. Chatfield plays it around. Jackson Blake, far side, pressured by DOMO, gets it away. And he's going to break out with some energy as it's bounced through center. And brought right back in by Carolina. Not far over the line. Canadians bounce it back to center. Here is Jake Evans moving in on net. Tried to go to the forehand. Puck rolled away. To the line. Carrier over to Gooley. Now near side DOMO. Pressured by Jacob Slavin. Slavin knocks it away. But right to Jake Evans, far side. Through the slot. Gooley wrister. That one got through but goes wide. Habs stay with it. Now intercepted by Carolina and down the left side. Moving in. Backhand try stop. Rebound for Blake and he scores. And it's 4-0 Carolina with 12:41 left in the second period.
Well, it's a tough play at the blue line. Jake Evans gets a puck intercepted, and it gets fed up to Taylor Hall on the left side. He drives in, and Newhook is back as the defender. Newhook gets caught in a pivot. Taylor Hall takes his puck in for a shot. He's going to collect another point on an assist. The initial save is made, but it's Jackson Blake who follows it up, and he gets Jakub Dobesh to commit, and he goes 5-hole and extends this to a 4-0 lead for the Canes.
And once again, it is that second line. All three members of it now, JP, have a goal in Game 5. That's the 5th of the postseason for Jackson Blake from Hall and Stankoven. 12:30 to go in the second, and it certainly feels like this one might be out of reach now, although this game is far from over. It is 4-0 Carolina, who have a 3-1 series lead as they battle for the puck low in the Montreal zone. Far corner, taken away by the Habs. Over to Newhook. He'll steer it around behind the net for Struble. And the Canadians come ahead to center. Here is Lane Hudson, who fires it in. Picked up by Montreal off the forecheck, but bobbled by Caulfield. Now taken down low by Suzuki. Out in front, almost connected off the near side with Demidov. This will be covered up by Freddie Anderson as Marty St. Louis puts Suzuki, Demidov, and Caulfield on the ice. But unable to capitalize here to get one back for Montreal. Jackson Blake, his 5th of the postseason, comes at 7:19 of the second period to make it 4-0 Carolina on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Montreal, the moment you've all been waiting for. Teddy Swims, The Ugly Tour. October 7th at the Bell Center. Get your tickets at teddyswims.com.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean-Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
Montreal is in the conference finals, and Fans First has tickets for every game. Buy directly from season ticket holders with no fees. Fans First, a Canadian company made by fans for fans. Get your tickets today at fansfirst.ca.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
11:47 to go on the second period. Carolina up 4-0 here thanks to Jackson Blake, and this cannot be easy, JP, right now for the Canadian players to keep any kind of belief right now.
Well, that's the key right now is, you get to take a look at the Montreal Canadiens bench, and I'm sure there's a little bit of rah-rah going on, but These are all professionals. They've all been at it for a long time. They can feel it, so it's just whether or not somebody can come up with something to give you just a little bit of hope.
Canes shoot it in from center. It'll be retrieved by Danault, and out to center with Slavkovsky you go. So it's Danault, Slavkovsky, and Cole Caulfield. As looks like we're going to see all kinds of different combinations for the Canadiens. We're looking for any kind of spark they can get to find a way back into this game. As Caulfield in behind his own net. Ahead for Danault at center. And almost gave it away, but got the pass off. Carolina push it back down the ice anyway. And Noah Dobson deep in his own zone. Bothered by Jackson Blake as the puck spills out in front. Handled at the point by Slavin. Slavin tries this shot. He shanks that one off the glass. Back down low behind the Montreal net. Here's Dobson.
I know the Canadiens travel well, but this feels like a bit of a mocking chant, doesn't it?
I think your read is correct. J.P. O'Connor is... The Carolina Hurricanes will settle it down behind the net. And they'll start the breakout. Up to center it goes. Chatfield over the line. That's going to be whistled down offside.
Well, Victor, in a game where the Habs could ill afford to make any mistakes, the Canes have taken full advantage of any of the miscues that the Canadiens have had. They put a stranglehold on this game, and we're just approaching the halfway mark.
And this crowd has plenty to cheer about. Plenty to be sarcastic about as well. I know you speak French and English very well, but apparently you are also fluent in sarcasm, JP.
There it is. Pull that one out of my pocket every once in a while.
You've got a few pockets, I know that. As the Canadiens play it out to center, it's chopped back in by Carolina. Mike Matheson racing out to center. Flips it in. And the Habs play it around the boards. Bolduc sends it right back around to Matheson. Back down low. Canadians stay with it. At the line, here's Alexander Carrier, and he'll wrist it high. Take it off the glass and out to center by Carolina. Now looped into the Montreal zone. Gooley off the glass out to center. Knocked down at the line. And Alexander Carrier brings it up and shoots it in from neutral territory. Aho for Carolina. Flips it to center. Canes in over the blue line. Near side, Jarvis. Thrown around for Sebastian Aho. Now Svechnikov, far corner. He's brought down. There's going to be a penalty here on Montreal. Gonna leave 9:04 to go in the second period of play. Already 4-0 Carolina. They're going to the power play on a high-sticking call on Lane Hudson when we come back to Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
Abrysvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrysvo. Visit abrysvo.ca.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
9:04 to go in the second period. Carolina up 4-0 on Montreal. Out shooting the Canadiens 19-7, and the Habs aren't careful, JP. This game could get away pretty quickly. You can make the argument it might already be getting that way.
Well, I think so. I think that's the right call by you. I think it's gotten away from the Canadiens, and this is a bit of a head scratcher for me as Lane Hudson is challenging. It's a one-handed play. Svechnikov has the puck well protected, and Lane Hudson leans in, just tries to interfere, but the stick comes up, catches Svechnikov in the face. No chance that he was going to be able to clear that puck.
Carolina set up off the draw and try and move it over to Stankoven. That gets away from him, and it goes all the way back out to center ice.
Stankoven is really buzzing now.
Carolina are 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. As they'll reload at center, there's a bad pass, gets away, goes right to Dobish. He's going to fire this all the way down the ice into the restricted zone. Anderson can't get out to play it, and Suzuki goes after it. He's driven into the boards by Miller. Hurricanes back the other way in transition. Stankoven right side. Drops it off for Blake. Back to Miller. Far side wrister from Nick Ehlers goes off the mark. Now Stankoven dishes off. Up high at the line, it's Blake. Miller. Back down low for Taylor Hall. Through the middle, Miller. Back and forth with Ehlers. Ehlers, far side. Back to Blake. Now right side Ehlers, all the way in behind the net. Dishes off to Blake. Tried to go sharp angle short side, it just missed.
They tried to do the same thing as Stankoven did in the first period.
Hurricanes still with it. Blake near side. Through the middle. Stankoven tried to go high as well. That missed. 30 seconds left to go in the power play for Carolina.
Full control by Carolina right now with the puck. Tired group for the Habs.
Far side for the Canes. Back to the point for Keandre Miller. Miller now, left side, hands off. Ehlers ran out of room, but Stankoven will run it down far side. He's wrapped up and pushed to the ice by Gooley. Hurricanes hold it in. Tried to center it out in front. It's picked off by Gooley. Just as the power play expires, he'll play it all the way out down the ice.
Oh, it's a physical play with Gooley along the wall. He drives Stankoven into the ice.
Canes come right back in. Carrier under pressure for Montreal. Svechnikov unable to win the battle far side, and here go the Habs out through center. Cross ice through the middle for Josh Anderson. His shot is stopped by Freddie Anderson. And now Texier takes it away into the slot. Off to Matheson. Left side down low. Good centering play, and Josh Anderson is denied again. Good patch save made by Freddie Anderson. Chatfield far corner. Knocks it up the wing. Back across it comes for Svechnikov. And he'll lob it to center. Knocked down, high stick on Texier with 6:12 left in the second period.
Josh Anderson with an impressive shift as he gets 2 solid looks on goal. He's only taken 4 shots in this series, has 2 goals. It's not a bad shooting percentage considering the Canadiens are not getting a lot of looks. If the Habs were going to force Game 6, there's no question that they were going to need a big game from Josh Anderson.
Right now he's got credit for 2 shots, now 3 shots on net. They just added 1, so that is a Montreal game high thus far. They've only got 8 shots in the game. As a D-zone face-off here for the Habs goes out to center ice. Slavin picks it up for Carolina. Bouncing around at center. It is played in on the far wing. Jordan Stahl goes after it with Struble. Back out in front, rolls right to Slavkovsky, and he'll fling it out to center. Canes play it back in. Struble gets to it. He's cut off behind the net by Jordan Stahl. Now Jake Evans knocked over by Chatfield. There's another shot from Martinook. It's gloved down by Dobish for the whistle. 5:33 left in the second. Carolina lead the series 3-1, and they lead the game 4-0 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Voisin knows everything tastes better after a win. This playoff season, when the Habs take the win, the celebration continues at Voisin. Swing by the following day for a free small Bleu Blanc Rouge slush. Voisin, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Details and conditions in store.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
Trade tariffs, quotas, changing customs regulations. It's a lot, but you don't have to manage it alone. Delmar's customs brokerage experts help you stay compliant, reduce costs, and trade with confidence. Visit delmarcargo.com. Delmar, logistics made simple.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV, with RDS and more sports channels, plus 500 internet, all for $99 a month. And get a $100 prepaid MasterCard. Includes autopay credit. Visit Bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
Canadiens Hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
5:33 to go in this second period. Carolina lead this game 4-0, out-shooting the Canadiens 20-9, JP.
Josh Anderson manages a couple of shots on the last shift, but you can still see the frustration on the Canadiens bench. You can see them, the shoulders are drooping, and they look like a dejected bunch.
Canadiens carried in over the line. They got Suzuki with Newhook and Demidov. As Goulet fires it round the boards. Up the far side wing, Jarvis flips it out through center. Backtracking is Goulet. It's knocked away from him. Tries to make a play on it behind the net. Sebastian Aho's all over him. And Goulet will pick it up as he forces it ahead for Newhook. And now played in. Here's Demidov, streaks after it. He got a poke on it, but it goes wide on Freddie Anderson. Now Suzuki, near side, goes down. Picked up by Jarvis, driven out to center. Over to Sean Walker, and he'll rip it in from center. Both teams are going to get a line change in. Matheson behind his own net. Again, tries the stretch. Delayed offside. No dice for the Habs. Nikishin, back up ice for Carolina. Passed off right side. That's picked off. And here go the Habs with Kirby Dach over the blue line. Out there with Evans and Bolduc. To the line, here's Matheson with a try. That one's moved to the corner by Freddie Anderson.
It looked like he was trying to see if he could spot Bolduc on the back post for a quick redirect.
Canadiens come back in. Here's Dach near side. Center, that one goes right through the crease. And a shot off the wing is blocked away by Anderson. Now Jackson Blake to center. He'll throw it in. Delayed penalty upcoming, and it'll be against Montreal again, or will it? Looks like too many men.
Yeah, that's a signal on the ice.
It is against Montreal.
Montreal penalty, bench minor, too many men on the ice.
So the Canadiens did get some chances prior to that. Now they're going to have to go back to the kill. Carolina are 0 for 3 in the game.
So these are some of the mental mistakes that start happening, and you can see it's just a flood of players across over the bench. miscommunication. Somebody's jumped on, and the extra body comes on that sends the Carolina Hurricanes to the power play.
3:35 to go in the second. Hurricanes lead 4-0. Face off to the blocker side on Dobish, and Jordan Stahl wins it back. Canes get it set. Here's a shot through the middle from Stahl. That's flagged down and covered by Dobish.
Well, it's quite the job that Stahl has done this series as he plays down in the 3-hole now behind Aho and Stankoven, but that is an impressive spine of the ice, and you can see with Stahl why his style, his commitment to the style that Carolina play, we can see him play for a couple more years at least, despite being in the back end of his career.
He's playing his 175th career playoff game tonight as the Carolina Hurricanes get it near side. Jordan Stahl moves it across and bounces around in front away from Aho. Back down low behind the net. Evans plays it all the way out down the ice. That'll leave 1.5 minutes to go in this power play.
14 years in Carolina for Stahl, and it was in game 2. He actually played his 100th game, his 100th playoff game for the Canes.
Almost got 1,000 with him now in the regular season. He's been the captain for them since 2019-20. As Carolina gets set in the Montreal zone. Far side, Jarvis. Back to the line for Gostisbehere. Now far side, Svechnikov. Back to the line, Gostisbehere. Svechnikov. Back through the middle. Aho with a wrister. There's a pad save made by Dobish. Held in by Carolina. Gostisbehere. Left wing. Turns around. Floats back into the slot. Right side, Aho. Back to the point. Now Svechnikov occupies it. 30 seconds left to kill for Montreal. Svechnikov down low, out in front, and they score. And it looks like Shane Gostisbehere might have got the last touch on it. It is a power play goal for Carolina to make it 5-0.
As puck starts up at the top, and it's Nicky Ehlers as everything goes through Ehlers when the power play is cooking for Carolina. Puck gets down to the goal line, it gets bumped over, and it is Gostisbehere who gets the last touch on it. He rotated down from the point and gets on it on the back post. Tic-tac-toe play, and it gets to 5.
Second power play goal of the series for the Canes. And still 1:58 to go in the second period. Second of the series for Shane Gostisbehere. That'll come at 18:02 of the second period from Jarvis and Ehlers on the man advantage as Carolina come back in. Jankowski with a backhand try off the near side. That doesn't go. And the Canadiens looking for a way out to center. Struble under pressure, near side corner, and he'll manage to move it ahead as Suzuki drives to center with Newhook and Demidov. Demidov throws it wide of the net. Round to the near side, Struble under pressure. Demidov digs it free. Out in front, there's a try for Suzuki. Pad save made by Freddie Anderson.
He's almost too close to the net as he got that puck in from Demidov. Just turned, and Anderson had closed the distance to him. He couldn't elevate it in time.
Struble at the line. Long shot. That's corralled by Anderson, too, and he covers for the whistle. And while the Habs have had a couple of chances tonight, JP, Freddie Anderson's had an answer for all of them.
Yep, Freddie Anderson it looked pretty secure back there. Hasn't spilled any rebounds. And on this last opportunity for Nick Suzuki, you can see Suzuki, as soon as it comes off the stick and the save is made, he looks up to the heavens wondering when it's going to be his turn to put one in the back of the net.
Face off to the blocker side on Anderson. As Philip Deneau to take the draw from Montreal, but it's won back by the Hurricanes. Off the glass it out. Lane Hudson scrambles back for it and stops in behind his own net. Canadians up to center. Slavkovsky looks cross-ice. Good read by Slavin. Knocks it out to center. Struble back for it. Spins it up the far side. Played back in by Stahl. Now here's Deneau at center. Left side, works in over the line. Moves it round the boards for Caulfield, far side. Back to the near wing for Mike Matheson. Behind the net. Trying to separate from Stankoven. Matheson tries to drive out in front. Knock the stick out of the hands of Freddie Anderson. The puck comes to center. And Alexandre Carrier skates in over the line. It's picked up again off the far wing by Montreal. Another shot from Carrier, stopped by Anderson just as the buzzer sounds to end the second period of play.
Well, closing out a team is always the most difficult thing to do, and Carolina, with the goal that they scored in overtime in Game 2, have now 10 in a row against Montreal. They'll have one more period left, and the
40 minutes for Frederik Andersen with the tragic circumstances of yesterday, Mike. And let me spend a quick second speaking about what a super job Martin St. Louis has done with Montreal this season. I would Hurricanes refuse in any way to take a breath. They leave that to you when you just saw Sting sing Every Breath You Take. They just refuse to take a breath. And this period was another example of that.
Now, if you don't wrap up, we won't give any breath for Adam Gold here in the intermission report.
I just landed the plane.
Well, let's exit and let Adam get us to the next destination. As 40 minutes in the books, a win tonight, Carolina will be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. And after 40 minutes here at Lenovo Center, the Hurricanes 5, the Canadiens nothing. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Finals on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Come to Atlantic Spas and Billiards for playoff savings. Special 0% financing from Caldera, Hot Springs, and Saratoga available now. We have a great selection of hot tubs under $10,000, and factory rebates are still available on our R-Series Endless Pool Swim Spas. Atlantic Spas and Billiards on Glenwood Avenue has a 12,000 square foot showroom with indoor and outdoor game tables and saunas, grills, hot tubs, and swim spas. Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Raleigh and Wilmington. Look for the hurricane warning flags out front.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center. Folks, I mean, we're only 20 minutes away, and we don't want to really put that cart before the horse because the cart can't pull the horse. But it is 5-0 Carolina Hurricanes, 20 minutes from a third Stanley Cup Finals appearance, and the first in 20 years, the first for head coach Rod Brind'Amour. And I mentioned this before the game started. In the modern era of hockey, so since we got beyond the original 6, Rod Brind'Amour could be the only captain to lead a team to the Stanley Cup and coach. Same team. He would be the first of his kind. Now, this has been building for a while. and Carolina is just building in this series. Remember what happened in Game 1, right? And then progressively better and better. Game 4 was Carolina's best game of the series, but it ain't better than this one. And we thought it would be hard to get better than Game 4. But Carolina sort of is. 15 shots on goal for Montreal. Maybe Rod's upset with that. I don't think he is. Hurricanes getting 2 goals in the period. Jackson Blake, and then a power play goal from Shane Gostisbehere. Carolina now 1 for 5 on the power play. And it's basically been start to finish. Carolina just showing who they are. Montreal, as good as they are, and they are good. And we are going to see them again and again and again in playoffs coming up. Just not quite ready for the moment. And the Hurricanes are. Again, a team that has been building to this. Martin St. Louis was talking about Carolina's maturity, and we have seen it right here in the first 2 periods. 5-0 Carolina. We've got highlights next.
Things people don't believe in. Little green aliens. Bigfoot. And that Spectrum TV combines all your favorite streaming apps with live TV at no extra cost. But that one is actually true. You get over $100 worth of streaming apps like HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, AMC Plus, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
Hey, Caniacs. As the official security partner of the Carolina Hurricanes, the local team at Vector Security is committed to protecting homes and businesses across the Research Triangle. Our families live here and contribute to our communities, so we have a vested interest in keeping the homes and businesses of our neighbors safe and secure. Visit vectorsecurity.com/Canes for a free home or business security assessment. That's vectorsecurity.com/Canes.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's non-stop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Highlights. Here we go. Carolina starts the period up 3-0. Important not to give up the next goal. Equally important to score the next goal. Jackson Blake.
Montreal still in control now. Great play to bank this one off in a break for Carolina. It's Hall. Hall coming in. Backhand. Dover save. Blake to the rebound. He scores! Oh, the Hurricanes are just pouring it on. It's 4-0 here at Lenovo Center. And Carolina, they can feel it right now with 12:41 left in the second period.
Hey, Freddie Anderson's had a great playoffs. Let's see if Freddie can do something.
Montreal, Anderson in the slot. Josh Anderson foiled by Frederick Anderson. Good arm save there. Now Texier with it. Inside the Canes blue line for Matheson. Matheson dives down the left wing. Centered out in front. Oh, Mr. Anderson. He denies Josh Anderson, who was alone on the doorstep.
Anderson on Anderson. And Freddie learning the news about not just his agent, but his dear friend Claude Lemieux yesterday. I knew that he'd find another level in celebrating Claude Lemieux.
That's a very, very good save. Nothing Jakub Dobiš could do with this. Carolina on the power play. Shane Gostisbehere down low.
Ehlers, side of the net. Jarvis, a backhand. Gostisbehere gets it through. They score! There's your power play goal! And the Carolina Hurricanes have a 5-0 lead in Game 5. Oh, you can feel it now here in Raleigh.
Right before the end of the first period, we had Keandre Miller with a great block. Right before the end of this period, Freddie Anderson to the rescue.
5 seconds left in the period. The Canes fans feeling it here. Montreal gets a quick shot through. Anderson again with the denial on Slafkovsky. And that's how the second period comes to a close. And Frederick Anderson writing a story here tonight as the Canes are up 5-0 after 40 minutes in Game 5.
Best 2-hole hitter in the sport coming up. But first, a reminder, that the Hurricanes scored a power play goal, and you know what that means. Stop by any participating Bojangles until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Say, I'm a Caniac and it's boat time. Get your free Bowberry biscuits. Skate to hurricanes.com for rules. At participating locations, Walt Ruff joins me next.
Your Harris Teeter grocery haul can earn you savings on gas with our fuel points. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 you spend when you shop with your Vic card on your favorite products, fresh produce, and organic brands. Track your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app and redeem your points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. The more you shop, the more points you earn. It's like getting gas money just for shopping like you normally do. Click to learn more. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
Ambition comes in all shapes and sizes. At First Citizens Bank, we're fit for your ambitions, whatever shape they may take. Whether you're planning for today or tomorrow, we've got the flexibility and know-how to help you reach your goals. Because we're built for what you're building. First Citizens Bank, fit for your ambition. Learn more at firstcitizens.com/ambition.
So, Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center. Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com, content maestro, wizard of the keyboards, join me. You got anything negative? I know people ask, what could be better? Rod Brindamore said, well, he didn't say it, but the 5-on-3 was junk in game 4. This has been pretty good.
Yeah, you know what Rod also said after Game 4? He said, I'm not focusing on anything negative. I like that from the head coach. I mean, for a guy who's always trying to get better, right? Every single time. And he's rightfully nitpicking. He's earned the right to, right? Yep. No one is more critical of his own group than he is. And so I thought that said a lot for him to come out and say that I'm not taking anything negative out of this. I would venture to guess he would have a similar answer after this one because I don't know that I have anything for you. I think, just about enjoying the moment right now.
It is. And, look, I think Montreal, I think Wednesday night was it for them. And I thought that could be the case. I thought if they got off to a good start tonight, we might see a fight out of them. But when the first one went in, I thought it was probably over. And now we're at 5. And I don't know if they're going to. I wouldn't pull Jakub Dobiš. I would let him stay out there.
Sure.
Unless it becomes a situation where, I wouldn't let it to get to 7 or 8. But, I mean, he deserves the right to stay in.
Absolutely.
What has impressed you about the way they've gone about their business tonight, Carolina?
It's just the same relentless work ethic that we see night in and night out. I know that's not a flashy answer. I know that's not anything we couldn't point to from Game 36 of the regular season to this evening, but they just bring it every single night. We hear the C word a lot, consistency, and this is another glowing example of that. I think it is showcased mightily in the sense of their ability to get pucks back this evening, especially. I mean, they're good at that all the time, but maybe there's my answer for tonight. Their ability to recover and get pucks, it just feels like they're on another level. I'm sure some of that is aided by Montreal looks like they're, running on fumes, right? That tank is on E. They played very hard in this series and 2 7-game series before this, but Carolina is just Jordan Stahl called them the machine the other day.
Yep.
I love that. I love that a lot, and the machine is continuing to hum.
Yeah, and it looks like it's on high test fuel as well. You mentioned getting pucks back because there was a shift. I think it was the shift before before Blake scored the goal that made it 4. Actually, it was the same shift. It ended up being a long shift. They kept getting the puck back.
Yep.
Right? And then they got hemmed in their own end a little bit, and I thought they were going to get off the ice.
Yep.
But Taylor Hall is like, why not?
Yeah.
And they were all still on the ice.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I think they actually looked for a change, and then whoever was coming down the bench side wing saw the space they had.
It's Taylor.
Yeah, there you go. And then just took advantage of it. And it is clearly all working in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, and it's enjoyable to watch.
It is. And, I think something you said to me is maybe the most important thing about this team, and we've talked about the consistency and all of that, is that tonight simply looks the same as 4, as 3, as 2. The only difference is that the puck's going in.
Mm-hmm.
And they always generate chances, right? They always have the puck. But when the puck goes in, then you go, oh my gosh, they're a wagon when the puck goes in. And when it doesn't, like in Game 2 and in Game 3, and you leave it late, You leave it up to chance a little bit. Now, they won both those games. But when the puck goes in, you realize, they really were. They really did kick their tail for 60-plus minutes.
You're exactly right. And I know it's easy for us to say here now as we're 20 minutes from something really special, but games 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, the ones that went to 2 and 3, the ones that went to overtime, excuse me, they probably should not have been overtime games, right? I mean, the goal differential there should have been out of control. Carolina played the same way. Credit to Montreal, right? Credit to them for making the most of their opportunities and being, opportunistic, but tonight's a pretty accurate representation.
Walt Ruff, I'll see you Tuesday right here. Batting second.
All right, buddy.
Sorry.
See you then.
Busy. There'll be a lot of people here. It's Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com, Content Maestro, Wizard of the Keyboards. An NHL scoreboard. There is only one score, but you'll like it after these words from your local stations on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
He's setting up the play at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Can I get a 6-inch hot-grilled Italian sub?
He shoots.
Should I grab a bag of chips?
Nope. All our subs come with fresh-cut fries.
He scores!
Everybody wins at Penn Station East Coast Subs with hot grilled subs for pickup or delivery, fresh cut fries, 5 convenient triangle locations. You're set up for a great meal any day when you do it the Penn Station way. Check out the menu and order online today at penn-station.com.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am putting my name on a commercial, then the company that I'm doing it for has to be great at one thing, and that is customer service. You guys are great at everything, but that's probably your specialty.
Absolutely. We pride ourselves on customer service. We have over 850 Google reviews, and we have a 4.9 rating.
Who didn't give you a 5? 800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com. Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center. And an NHL scoreboard is brought to you by Lenovo, official technology provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. Hey, the only score tonight, Carolina 5 and Montreal 0. Jackson Blake and Shane Gostisbehere with goals here in period 2. After period 2, that made it 5-0. Gostisbehere's goal came on the power play. Carolina now 1 for 5 on the power play. And a quick reminder, the second period highlights, as always, are brought to you by Spectrum. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more. SpectrumTV.com. Mike and Tripp will have the next 20. I am Adam Gold. We will see you after this one is all finished. Can't wait for that. I think we have some fun things to talk about later on.
When you drive a vehicle so reliable it's backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Visit your local Kia dealer today to see what you're capable of in a vehicle that inspires confidence around every corner. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Limited inventory available. Warranties include 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain and 5-year 60,000-mile basic. Warranties are limited. See retailer for details.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar, the better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Welcome back inside Lenovo Center, where the Carolina Hurricanes are 20 minutes away from going to a place they haven't been in 20 years, the Stanley Cup Final. A 5-0 lead heading into this third period over Montreal here in Game 5. Alongside Chip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes Radio Network. All right, Trip, there's still time left in this one. If you're Carolina, how do you finish this one the right way?
5-minute segments. You know, worry about the first 5 minutes and 6 minutes of the first commercial timeout. Jakub Dobiš stays in for Martin St. Louis Montreal Canadiens, but first 5-minute segment and then go from there.
And Carolina gets the puck in deep to start this third period. And Montreal will advance, and Demidov takes a shot, and that goes just wide of Anderson's net as he waves at it with the glove, and the Canes can get it out to center ice. Stahl will bat it in. Martinook tags up. Canes onside. Stahl with some forechecking pressure. The Canadiens will drop this one back for Lane Hudson. That's one of the things that Carolina has done in this series trip. Lane Hudson, the outstanding defenseman, only has 1 goal in this series for Montreal.
Well, even in game 1 when Carolina got routed consistently, so Carolina has been incredibly physical on Hudson and the Montreal group of defensemen. And you're in game 5 right now, and this is where it starts to really pay dividends. There's just not a lot of gas left in the tank because of that.
Here comes Logan Stankoven. He'll drop it back for Hall. Worked around the Montreal zone, kept in by Walker. Just inside the right point, around the boards. Blake sends it into the corner. Stankoven finishes off Matheson, and then having trouble with his Kirby Doc. Alexander Carrier comes up to clean up the loose puck. He'll skate it out of his own zone. He'll gain center ice and send it back into the Cane zone, where Anderson will leave it on a tee for Keandre Miller. Now Miller will leave this one for Sebastian Aho. Aho to Gostisbehere into the Montreal zone.
You know, I think that the Hurricanes as a group, they've gotten bigger, tougher to play against. They have gotten hardened in all the ways that help you win.
Yes.
But it's the additions. Keandre Miller was just on the ice. Nikolai Ehlers, his goal in game 2 in overtime, in my opinion, was the biggest goal of the series.
And what a play by Shane Gostisbehere here as he gapped up on Philip Deneau as Caulfield was cheating for some offense. Doesn't happen. Now Montreal will keep this one in. That shot blocked by Gostisbehere before it can get through. Sent back around the boards, and it'll be chipped out. This will be coming back into the Hurricane zone. Icing. 17:38 left here in the third period. 5-0 Carolina in the lead here in Game 5. A win sends the Carolina Hurricanes to the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, Carolina won 56% of the faceoffs through 2 periods. They've taken over the faceoff circle for me at critical times as this series has progressed. And like the Ottawa series in the first round, elite faceoff teams, you know, the fact that Carolina has had an edge in that department, that's just impressive. Especially with the number of lefties they've got, but with everything else Logan Stankoven is doing, he's, as the one righty, he's been good in the faceoff circle too.
Montreal wins the puck away from Aho, and another save from Frederik Andersen. Now Gostisbehere has to go to his knees to block a shot. He does. Evans to it, but he'll split the Montreal defenseman and send it all the way back down to Jakub Dobiš. Dobiš right back for Evans. He'll try to fling this one out in front, but Veleno can't get to it. Evans will keep in. Chance to play it back. Bolduc and Evans, they go to the corner. Bolduc will come out with it. Bolduc will just drop it where Jacob Slavin tries to clear. Intercepted by Bolduc. Whipped across. Evans with a backhander, and that one deflects away. Veleno was all alone out in front.
What positioning from Jacob Slavin.
Now Hudson trying to get a shot through, bouncing puck. That'll go to the side of the net of Frederik Andersen and roll to the end boards.
And Carolina, like Slavin there, their play away from the puck against a skilled opponent has been elite defensively. And number one, it makes it so frustrating for the Montreal Canadiens offensively, but number two, it allows Frederik Andersen to be that much more committed to his job when he has that trust away from the puck.
Montreal will send it into the Cane zone. Suzuki will keep it in at the blue line on the Miller clear. Back into the corner, and Carolina has a free out. Martinook to the blue line, leaves it here for Stahl. Right back to Martinook. He tries the short side. Dobiš makes the save. Rebound will be skated away by Suzuki. Suzuki rims this one around in the Cane zone. Walker skates that one up to Martinook, and then Ehlers just eases this one to the Montreal blue line.
This is the mutual respect that I compliment between teams that have battled so hard But at this point, the physicality is really not there.
Now Blake trying to catch him in a chain, shoots Dobish with a right pad save.
And Blake doesn't have it. He's got a couple points tonight, but he could have 4 goals himself.
Yeah.
That's how good he's been. Right after that, starting with that 2-on-1 on the first shift of the night.
Yeah, this will be icing here on Carolina. 15:29 remaining here in the third. As the Canes, Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, Eric Robinson, Jackson Blake, Shane Gostisbehere, your goal scorers here tonight. Once again, the theme for the Carolina Hurricanes. It is the sum, not the parts.
With this narrative that Carolina had an easy road, can I just take a second to mention their toughest opponent? Philadelphia, Rick Tocchet did a great job, especially without Owen Tippett. But Ottawa was their toughest opponent the first round, where they've had home ice, in my opinion, since 2002. Look at those 4 games.
Yeah.
Easy road, no way, no how.
No.
I think Ottawa really helped this team, and that's where I think about Jordan Staal dropping the gloves with Brady Tkachuk right out of the gate. I mean, people aren't watching the game if they thought Carolina had an easy road with the caliber of the Ottawa Senators in the first round.
There's just no such thing anymore in this league, though, Tripp. That's the other part of it for me. The margins are so much slimmer on a game night than what it ever used to be.
But not really in this series because, Montreal's played a lot of hockey, but, and it's appropriate to say, you think you're close, but you're not, and Montreal has an abundantly bright future. And they have been an incredible story in winning 2 Game 7s on the road against 2 really good teams. But in the Ottawa series, the margins were that close because of that team. So I just had to quickly say that because people thought Carolina had a nice, easy path.
No.
For me, the Ottawa Senators, aside from that 2-3 matchup in the West of Dallas and Minnesota, was the toughest challenge for any team in the first round.
No. Now if you're Carolina, you're 1450 away from what will be the toughest challenge, the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes, it will be. And, that's why I said in the second period that I thought Carolina needed to win tonight, not to have to get on a plane. And with the home ice that they've earned, you go back to our broadcast late in the regular season, I was pushing home ice.
Yeah.
Even if it meant finishing atop the conference and playing an Ottawa team that, candidly, I feared. But as the playoffs go on, that's when home ice really matters.
Well, now here's a turnover. Carolina generating the opportunity here as Jarvis took it away from Gouli, who broke his stick. Dobish tries to help it around the boards. It'll be played back to the point by Aho, but Slavin was wisely going back the other way.
Gosh, I'm saying that about a team that's 6-0 on the road in the playoffs so far. But yes, Vegas will be their biggest test.
Yeah.
And, the 2 best teams should be playing in the Stanley Cup final. And it's not a debate this year that they will.
As Dobish plays this one away from the outstretched stick of Mark Jankowski, and this will be icing against Montreal. 13:59 left here in the third period. 5-0 Canes in the lead.
There's no touch icing, of course, but the first guy back, had there been touch icing, was Alexander Nikishin. And I have said a million times, I project him to be a top pairing defenseman. I believe that to the ends of the earth. But he needed to take expedited steps in his journey in the playoffs this spring, and he has.
And the Canes will win the draw back to Gostisbehere. He will send it behind the net of Dobish, where Jake Evans will get to it. Dobish doesn't have a stick. He's going to go out and go pick it up as Evans is just dancing back there. And Evans will break this one out off the glass and to center ice. Bolduc reaching for it right at the center ice line, but William Carrier will pick it up. Carrier, a series he's had. The Quebec native.
I mean, the best line since Game 3 started in the series has been the Stankoven line. After they had an atypical slow start after carrying the team in rounds 1 and 2. However, the biggest X-factor intangible series-changing line for either team has been the Jankowski line featuring Will Carrier and Robinson, who scored a beauty earlier tonight to Eric Robinson.
And for Robinson in the series, 3 goals. Penalty coming up to Carolina. Carrier 2 assists, but as you mentioned, at times they were an offensive threat. A tripping call coming up here to Carolina. We'll hear the call.
Carolina penalty number 27, 2 minutes, tripping.
Nikolai Ehlers to the box. Montreal to the power play. When we return, 12:48 left in the third. The Canes need a win to get to the Stanley Cup final. They're up 5-0, almost halfway through the third period. You're listening to the NHL playoffs on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
Things people don't believe in. Little green aliens. Bigfoot. And that Spectrum TV combines all your favorite streaming apps with live TV at no extra cost. But that one is actually true. You get over $100 worth of streaming apps like HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, AMC Plus, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's non-stop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
When the Canes win at home during the playoffs, you win too. Download the Chick-fil-A app and claim your offer for a free chicken sandwich by midnight. Available at participating Greater Triangle area restaurants. Chick-fil-A, well, you're 12:48 away from claiming a free chicken sandwich. It's going to taste pretty good because it's going to mean the Canes are going to the Stanley Cup final. But right now, Carolina back on the penalty kill, Trip.
I just saw on the Turner broadcast, Zoolander and Hall of Famer Henrik Lundqvist went down into the lower bowl to say hello to a few fans. And suffice to say, with his blue suit tonight, that they were excited to see him. And a lot more excited than I was to see him come into this building on countless occasions as a New York Ranger.
I'll tell you what, he is class personified.
He is.
And no human being should be able to pull off the couture that he has. You're close.
No.
On the plane ride to Montreal, you were stylish.
Well, that's from former Ranger, and what a wonderful thing it is that he's a Hurricane. Keandre Miller up in my game, and Keandre's on killing this penalty right now.
The Canes trying to stay perfect on the penalty kill. They're 3 for 3. Montreal, though, able to work this one back in. Slafkovsky, top of the right face-off circle. They'll get it back from Suzuki. Montreal moves it around now. Damodoff hammers one right off of Anderson. Perfect position for Frederik Anderson to make the save. Now played across Slafkovsky out in front. Oh, Mr. Anderson! There's the save of the game!
That'll bring everybody to their feet. This capacity huge Caniac crowd is aware of what the last 36 hours have been for Frederik Anderson. And amazing that he has, not surprising, but amazing, that he has put together this vintage Frederik Anderson performance with no doubt in my mind that his longtime agent and clutch four-time Stanley Cup winning performer, Claude Lemieux, looking down.
Now a chance here as Carolina can clean it out. Robinson to Jankowski. They got a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Back to Robinson, but the pass just a little too high. A little bit too much sauce on that one from Mark Jankowski. Your Nona might have liked it, but Montreal will come up with a puck. 20 seconds left in the penalty to Nikolai Ehlers. Montreal into the Cane zone. Texier, float one out in front, but look who's there, Jacob Slavin, who, by the way, is back to doing Jacob Slavin things after an uncharacteristic Game 1 trip. Has he been good in Games 2 through 5?
In some ways, you know what this 2026 conference final reminds me of? The 2019 conference final, the first of the now 4. I think about, it was Game 4, the way the Bruins it was all over.
Yep.
The Hurricanes are just now playing the role of the Boston Bruins.
Well, here's a chance for Blake. He'll be knocked off the puck. That's an astute example, partner. I've been thinking the same thing as this series has moved on.
I remember in the closeout games, Zdeno Chara, Boston's Hall of Fame captain, had gotten hurt. He came out for the handshake line. Another penalty to Carolina.
Broke his jaw.
Yeah, and he returned for the hand. But Carolina was just, they weren't there. They weren't there. And, the Bruins.
Carolina penalty number 4, 2 minutes, slashing.
The announcement to the penalty to Shane Gostisbehere, but that was my hope when I think about opponents and history, that this young, exciting, impressive Montreal team, just like that Hurricanes team was in their return to the playoffs that year, but they just weren't there against the Boston Bruins, who then went to 7 games, and the St. Louis Blues won that Stanley Cup. But Canes have played the role of the Boston Bruins now with all of their experiences.
Carolina back on the kill for the 5th time here as Gostisbehere's in the box, and paying the price to block the shot is the Canes captain Jordan Staal, halfway through the 3rd period to knock that one over the glass into the netting.
In a 5-0 game. And, the chemistry that is necessary to advance when there are only 2 teams left, the care, the love, you have to have it. And Jordan Staal, it's 5-0. But he wants something for his goaltender, Frederik Andersen, with that block.
Well, Montreal will win the draw, and then another block that time. It's Martinook getting in the way of the Demidov blast. Again, it's 5-0 Carolina. The players in their black home jerseys can sense it, and they only know one way to play. Now a sharp angle shot from Caulfield, denied by Andersen, and the rebound all the way down where Dobish has to play it in the trapezoid.
Well, they only know one way to play, but they're playing for 31 in goal. That's what they're doing right now.
Now this will be a chance for Suzuki to get it in. Spun back to the point. Slafkovsky. He'll get it to Caulfield all the way around. Hudson will keep it in. His drive kicked away by Andersen. Suzuki sealed off by Walker. Miller with another outstanding defensive play, but he can't clear. Kept in by Montreal. Alone in the slot. Caulfield will score. A power play goal for Cole Caulfield, the man with 51 goals in the regular season. It is, in this series, his 2nd goal, 6th of the playoffs. And that takes away the shutout. It's 5-1. Carolina is still in the lead. Montreal with their first of the game.
It was Demidov that prevented Keandre Miller on his backhand from clearing the puck. And because of that, Lane Hudson was able to hold the line. And Caulfield was all alone. And with his quick hands, his hands are ridiculously quick. Freddie Andersen doesn't know if he's going to deke it or shoot. Just quick hands, tight together up top. Gets Freddie moving. Quick release between the legs. Ivan Demidov, who I thought was the key piece of keeping that puck in, I think he's had a good series. I think he has an extremely bright future, not just offensively, but in all the other areas of the game.
And it's his 4th power play assist for Demidov this postseason. And Carolina now going right to work with the Jankowski, Robinson, Carrier line. Montreal, though, back into the Kane zone. Little fancy pass, too fancy. As Texier tried to set it up, but Carolina will break back. And a chance set out in front. That'll be deflected off of a stick, off the high glass. It'll stay in the Montreal zone just for a moment. Alexander Carrier dip this one into the Kane zone. Andersen comes out to play it. Looks for some room to get it to Gostisbehere. Now it'll be sent back for Carolina to flip this one high into the Montreal zone. Newhook will get to it. The former Avalanche. Newhook. Work this one in. Deflected away by Frederick Anderson into the corner. Dobson plays it out in front, but Carolina collapses. They'll get to the puck. And a chance for Taylor Hall into the Montreal zone. Rink wide, Slavin. One touch for Stankoven behind the net. Leaves it there for Blake. Blake will be bothered there by Doc. That'll be flipped around for Newhook. Newhook pestered by Stankoven. And then there'll be a turnover at center ice, and the Canes get it to Stankoven. This will be dropped back, and the shot will be caught. Oh, Nikolai Ehlers loaded it up right in the high slot. And Dobish will make another save, but Carolina closer to punching their ticket to the Stanley Cup final. 7:34 left in the third. 5-1 Hurricanes here in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final here on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Mike Maniscalco here, and I'm hanging out with my good friend Paul Auclair, the owner of Deep River Brewing Company and proud sponsor of your Carolina Hurricanes. Paul, tell us a little bit about Deep River Brewing Company.
Deep River Brewing Company is located at 700 West Main Street in historic downtown Clayton, North Carolina. Our brewery and tap room are open Wednesday through Sunday. We have 12 beers on tap and food trucks on site daily.
And you can find Deep River beer at local bottle shops, restaurants, and grocery stores. If you don't find Deep River at your local watering hole, make sure to ask for it by name. And remember, drink local.
Your Harris Teeter grocery haul can earn you savings on gas with our fuel points. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 you spend when you shop with your Vic card on your favorite products, fresh produce, and organic brands. Track your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app and redeem your points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. The more you shop, the more points you earn. It's like getting gas money just for shopping like you normally do. Click to learn more. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
Hurricanes fans, the future of entertainment is coming to Raleigh, and Lenovo is helping lead the way. Lenovo Center is home to the Carolina Hurricanes and the starting point for a highly anticipated entertainment district where technology, food, and fun will converge. As your North Carolina neighbor, for 2 decades, Lenovo is powering the fan experience every step of the way. Join us for a Canes game this season. We'll see you there. Well, when the Canes play on the road, and they'll continue to do that, you can join Stormy and the gang at the Carolina Ale House's Cary location for the Canes watch party. Stop by any of the Ale Houses to cheer on with your fellow Caniacs. Carolina Ale House, exclusive sponsor of the Canes playoff watch parties. We're 7:34 away from guaranteeing at least 2 more. As the Canes up 5-1 in the third period, alongside my partner, Trip Tracy. And our excellent engineers, Rusty Helzer, Master Control, John Brockwell here in the booth. Carolina trying to add to their lead. A chance for Ehlers looking for Stahl through the blue paint. And Stahl had his stick just tied up enough at the last moment by Suzuki. Now Demidov, he'll give it away. Ehlers, center ice, into the Montreal zone. Ehlers, backhand pass, Martinook. Martinook tips his shoulder. He goes around Hudson. Sent back into the corner. Ehlers was taken down by Gooley. No call there. With 6:55 remaining here in the third period.
We're getting close. We're getting close to when these huge Caniacs start to truly amp it up down the stretch.
Well, here's a chance at Frederick Anderson with a ridiculous glove save on Alex Newhook. And he'll hang on.
He's gotten a ton of Freddie chance tonight. And I would think the one that had to mean the very most to him, before the moment of silence for his agent Claude Lemieux, right before the moment of silence, the starting lineups were announced. And when Freddie, who just made a terrific glove save, glove well in front of him, what a chant he got before the puck was even dropped. Freddie, 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 Freddie.
And the Canes.
How great has it been? This entire playoff run. They're like past years, there's no question.
No.
Who's starting? I've always thought that that's a really important thing. And for the first time in many years, there has been zero question.
Right.
From game 1 against Ottawa, I suppose some people, you know, between games 3 and 4 against Ottawa after the double overtime, Jordan Martinook tally in game 2, but you had 2 days between games. So, you know, well, do you get Brandon Bussey in, who would finish the regular season. He's a huge reason, by the way, the Hurricanes are going to have home ice in the Stanley Cup final. Brandon Bussey.
31 Y.
But yeah, oh, you legend.
You're welcome.
You know, but it has been something that has not even been water cooler talk. Who's going to start? And that's a wonderful thing.
Montreal wins this face-off in the Kane zone. Struble will get this to Bolduc around the boards. Dobson shot, steered away by Anderson into the corner, but Bolduc able to keep it in. Played back. The Evans drive goes off of a leg. Veleno to it. Sent back behind the net for Evans. Evans will play this one up the right wing boards. He'll dump it deep. And Chatfield is able to get some help from Jarvis to knock this one back out. 5:40 left here in the third period of Game 5. A 5-1 Hurricanes lead. Evans with it. Trying to center it. Chatfield gets a stick. And the bouncing puck will be settled by Andrei Svechnikov and delivered back into the Montreal zone.
It's going to happen. It'll start here before we go to... I was in Vegas in July last year for a day or two, and it was 120 degrees. I'm never going to be so excited to see that approaching summer heat.
Caulfield dumps this one back. A shot, and that'll be deflected away. Anderson got a piece, might have got some help from his good friend, the goalpost. And the Canes can clear.
The reason I think Nikolai Ehlers' overtime winner in Game 2 was the biggest goal of the series. First win was going to be the toughest.
Now Caulfield will drop this for Demidov. That goes off the skate of Nikishin. Those two very good friends. Hooley with it now for Montreal. That'll be deflected by Robinson. And a lucky fan from Scotland Neck has got a souvenir here tonight. They'll take that one with them forever.
And this will take you right to the last commercial break.
4:38 remaining here in the third period. 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Carolina that far away from their third ever trip to the Stanley Cup final. 5-1. The Hurricanes lead the Canadiens here on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Hey, Caniacs. As the official security partner of the Carolina Hurricanes, the local team at Vector Security is committed to protecting homes and businesses across the Research Triangle. Our families live here and contribute to our communities, so we have a vested interest in keeping the homes and businesses of our neighbors safe and secure. Visit vectorsecurity.com/canes for a free home or business security assessment. That's vectorsecurity.com/canes.
4:38 left in the third period. A 5-1 Hurricanes lead here in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They are up 3-1 in this series. And Trip Tracy, an empty net for the Montreal Canadiens. Down 4 goals with 4:37 left here in the third.
Offensive zone draw. If you're going to take your shot, this is when you've got to do it. Ehlers is on the ice. I've always said that empty netters are not exciting enough for Ehlers, having hit the iron with an empty net opportunity in Game 4.
Give me the moment to call my shot. How appropriate would it be for 31 to do it? Now here's a chance. Oh, Frederik Andersen gets a piece, and the Canes clear it. Martinook takes aim, and it hits the side of the net. Hustling after it's Ehlers. He's going to beat the icing call. Carolina keeps it going. Second chance. Ehlers shot just too wide.
Oh, they probably should have already had 2 empty netters, but if it gets to Andersen, Freddie Andersen's got to take his shot.
I'm with you, but now it'll be Chatfield clearing it as Montreal can only get a foot over the Canes' blue line, and it's sent back down.
If Montreal dumps the puck in and Freddie goes after it and scores, there won't be a roof for Tuesday night in Game 1. Oh, here we go.
It's
Come on,
set
Freddie.
behind the net. Anderson, he's just going to leave it on a tee. Smart play by the Canes netminder. Out for Svechnikov to Aho. Aho, Jarvis, bingo! Place your bets. Carolina's got Vegas coming for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final.
To the nth degree, what an unselfish group of Hurricanes. Freddie Anderson, it was 5-1. He could have gone for it himself, but what did he do? Left it, made the high percentage play for a defenseman. Eventually you win a board battle. You got Aho and Jarvis on a 2-on-1 with an empty net, and Jarvis buries it. That's the unselfish nature of this team. Freddie Anderson, everybody would have understood.
Yeah.
He could have gone for it himself.
Well, Dobish back in the nets for Martin St. Louis. A 6-1 Hurricanes lead. 3:25 left. Now to the side of the net, Jankowski. He'll set up behind the Montreal net. In the Gretzky office, little flip shot. Dobish will knock it down, and Montreal can clear. Hustling after, it'll be Gostisbehere.
Now, speaking of that office, he did predict this outcome this morning when I spoke to him. I told him it's reason number 999,999 why he's the great one. He sent me that message between periods. He did predict this.
I know you said that. That number seems a little light. It's there.
I went low. I can't pronounce anything higher than that with nines.
Now a chance out in front. Montreal still playing. And a backhand by Josh Anderson. Hits the post and Carolina clears. Now we're going to get a whistle behind the play with 2:37 left in this third period.
On the ice to Montreal.
I'm getting a call, and that's what it is.
Montreal penalty bench minor, too many men on the ice.
Well, I don't know how much focus is going to be on this power play, but you know, the power play goal from Shane Gostisbehere in the second period I thought was potentially important because you are going to need your power play against the Golden Knights. You're going to need your penalty kill to continue being a headliner. And huge story in this series has been the groove found in the games of, in no particular order, Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Seth Jarvis, and Shane Gostisbehere.
Well, the Canes on another Powerball power play. And you're going to see some guys who don't get a lot of power play time get rewarded here. And Sean Walker will help quarterback this.
They've won the series for Carolina in a lot of ways, this line on the ice.
It's Carrier, Jankowski, and Robinson with Walker and Gostisbehere. And as you just pointed out correctly, the way they played, they deserve this opportunity.
You know, Rod Brindamore could have looked at this as working on, you know, the grouping for the Stanley Cup Final. It's a small thing, but that's respect.
Caniacs with the chant. We want the cup right now here at Lenovo Center. Now Stahl with it. He'll carry it in. Peel it back for Ehlers.
The whole capacity crowd on their feet right now.
Ehlers to Stahl. Just think about what this team has done as Martinook out in front swats at one. That'll be skated away by Josh Anderson. Nikishin paws it down. This group in 8 years have gone to 4 Eastern Conference Finals. The questions, were they going to get over the hump? Swept by Boston. Swept by Florida. Then beaten by Florida in 5 games. They lose game 1 of this Eastern Conference Final. But this Hurricanes team has now won 4 consecutive Eastern Conference Final games. And they are going back to the Stanley Cup for the third time in this franchise's history. 45 seconds away from making that date with destiny happen. This crowd saying it all. 30 seconds left. Dovish plays it along the wall. Velena will clear it out. Evans can't get it into the Kane zone. Picked up by Robinson. He'll just flip it in deep. 10 seconds left. The countdown's on, partner. 5 seconds left. They finally cleared the hurdle, this group of Carolina Hurricanes. The top team in the Eastern Conference are going to the Stanley Cup Final. They'll host game number 1 Tuesday night. The Vegas Golden Knights coming to town as they beat the Montreal Canadiens 6-1. They win the series 4-1, answering all of the questions and closing the book on all of the doubters. Get ready, folks. Lord Stanley is going to be paying a visit to Carolina one more time.
You know, Mike, I looked down at this group of Hurricanes, and I was emotional driving into the building today thinking about the last 20 years. And I wouldn't change any of it for this moment. I look down at this group. I think about the phrase for the World Series winning Detroit Tigers in '84, bless you boys. To these players, this group of Hurricanes, bless you boys for giving us and all of these huge Caniacs on their feet so much joy. And they're going back, and they've earned every bit of it.
Well, now it's the best moment in sports. It truly is the handshake line after a series so hard fought. And just think of the Canes and the players that it took to get here. First, the captain, Jordan Staal. Coming here, he envisioned this. Went in a little bit of a different direction for him to start. But now he is the captain of a team going to the Stanley Cup Final. The addition of Jordan Martinook in a postseason that he didn't know he could be traded. And he shows up in Carolina, and all the team has done is make the playoffs 8 straight years with him. Sebastian Aho, what he's been able to do.